Hello everyone. Carl Wolf here. Where we last left off in Steins Gate 0, apparently the world line had shifted because Rentaru, that was his name? I forget. Kyoma's reading Steiner had activated. And it does say Pandora's box, so that's interesting. For the first time in almost 4 months, I felt like the whole world was twisting. Who was it? Who had changed the world line? I didn't do anything. I hadn't interfered with the world. So why was the world doing this to me? Rentaro. Okay, yeah. Got something in my throat all of a sudden. I didn't before stream. Anyway. I opened my eyes. Things had already taken on different colors. The world kept wavering. Until once, again, it became fixed to a single point in time. I wasn't looking at a warm, cheerful party in the lab anymore. Keep tripping on my words. I was outside. It was raining. The rain was falling on my face, in drops so large that it hurt. It was a midwinter rain. It was freezing cold, and I could feel it sapping the strength from my body. My view stopped twisting. I was staring at the broad back of a man I didn't know. I could hear the sound of many boots stamping through the mud, mingling with falling rain. The stench was terrible. The smell of sewage was so strong it hurt to breathe, and it was mixed with the awful smell of burning rubber and plastic. Where was I? What was I doing right now? Things around me had changed so much. I tried to understand the situation I was in, but my brain was having an awful time keeping up. We're almost there. Hang in there. Oh, it is doing it twice. I saw another streamer recently say that things were showing up twice in chat. Oh no, it only shows up twice in my OBS. Weird. My OBS chat, it says you redeem first twice and daily clan visit twice. Welcome in, Kai. Congrats on first, and thank you for your daily check-in. How are you today, Kai? I'm good. That's good to hear. You handling your off day today? Not going crazy, are you? Did some rest in Among Us? Nice, nice. When I stopped, a rough hand patted me on the shoulder encouragingly. I did a few hours of Among Us. I looked around to see a man my age, with a strong, powerful face. It was a face I'd never seen before. I didn't know him. Probably. It's not going to be, Daru, is it? Some PC cleaning made nearly 70 GB free. Right now I'm down to like 50 GB. Because some of the games I've played recently... Because I don't uninstall the games until I've fully completed them on Steam. Like all the achievements and everything. But some of the games that I need the achievements on are achievements that are recording worthy. So I need to... I might have to uninstall some games and just deal with that later. The man was wearing the camo outfit and equipment I'd often see the self-defense force wear on the news. He was carrying an assault rifle on his shoulder. There were 7 or 8 people around me, all dressed the same. They surrounded me in a circular formation and walked forward silently, as they kept a careful eye on the area around them. Are these people the self-defense force? And then I realized. I was wearing the same camo uniform they were. I'm in the SDF too? I uninstall them when I'm done, but the gacha games be combined 320 GB already? True. Yeah, those games you play are a ton of memory. Genshin is 130. I literally cannot install Genshin unless I start uninstalling some stuff. I touched my bicep to check, but there was no muscle. It was flabby and weak, unlike the others. It wasn't carrying any weapons. Then what was going on here? It felt like these 7 or 8 tough-looking SDF guys were all guarding me. Since when was I that important? Still confused, I dragged myself onwards. Where was I, anyway? It was a long path filled with dark brown mud. The walls formed a tall silhouette to the left and right. The path was filled with garbage and concrete rubble, and sometimes we had to force our way past it. I looked up past the high walls. Despite the rain, the moon in the night sky was strangely red and a little too bright. It was thanks to the moon that we were able to walk down a path like this without flashlights. Huh? Sound. I heard a sound. It was the sound of water. I looked over and saw a hole open up in one of the walls. Filthy water was pouring out. The water formed dozens of little rivers that blocked our path. Hey Spicy, welcome in. Congrats on second. And thanks for your daily check-in. Ooh, 8 more times. So that was it. This was the bottom of a river that had dried up. What looked like high walls were the river dikes. Where are we? I turned towards the man who had spoken to me a bit ago, and yelled so that my voice could be heard over the rain. Shh! Don't make any loud noises. Oh, sorry. We're almost through the city center. We can make it to Yarima Garrison. There'll be a car waiting for you, so just keep walking. Oh god. That was weird. So for those who know and those who don't, I have headphones in my right ear, listening to the game and everything, and an earbud in my left, listening to the stream directly. And it went silent in my right, clearly before my left, and that was weird, the way it did that. But his words cut off there. Everyone seemed more tense than ever. One of them grabbed me and pushed me towards the side of the riverbed. Everyone put their backs against the wall and held their breath. Is it aliens? I could hear the sound of a helicopter's rotors in the distance. No, more than just one. and they were getting closer. I had no idea what was going on, but I could feel my heart start to beat faster. Get in the shadow of that car. Past several meters of rubble lay an overturned car. It must have fallen into the riverbed after the water had disappeared. The entire body was bent inward, and the roof was completely crushed. I lay down in the stinky mud and slid into the shadow of the overturned car. At the same time, the SDF soldiers were issuing each other orders, as if this was something they'd planned for already. And two of them stayed by my side, and everyone else ran back the way we'd come. They all climbed up crevices and outcroppings on the wall, then disappeared over the edge of the dike and out of my view. Shortly after, flashbang. Those were gunshots. Not just a single shot from a handgun or anything like that. This was the sound of war. Heading on, I could hear the helicopters get further away, drawn by the gunfire. Oh no. In this worldline, was Japan at war? The Third World War. I remembered Suzuha's words. I happened to look inside the crushed car. I could see the corpses of a man, a woman, and a small child hanging upside down, still attached to their seatbelts. They were all covered in dried black blood. They looked like mannequins at a bad haunted house. And then I realized. I'd been so focused on moving forward that I hadn't noticed what they were. But I'd seen similar mannequins sunk into the mud. I could see their arms, the bones and ragged muscle exposed to the air, reaching up to the sky as if seeking salvation. He's not taking this well. I put my hand over my mouth to stifle a scream. Those weren't mannequins. Now, get along the side of the wall and move. Huh? We're changing the route. Come on, stand up. He pulled me up. My knees were shaking from shock and exhaustion. The others are drawing away the Soviet helicopters, but that won't last long. Hurry. The Soviet Union? My mind was dulled from the terror, but it seemed like there was something off about what he just said. Get a hold of yourself. Do you know how many people have died to protect you? Protect me? Why? We haven't been told why, but we were told to lay down our lives for you if we had to, and that you could change this country's future. Did Russia figure out how to, or at least the government, did they figure out how to build the time machine and go back in time to keep the Soviet Union from failing? A helicopter passed over the riverbed. The bright searchlight passed by for a moment, but thankfully, the shadow of the dike hid us. This way. The young SDF soldier, whose name I didn't even know, pulled me inside one of the holes in the concrete. When I looked closely, I could see that it was the entrance to a sewer. It was just big enough for a single person to pass through. Struggling against the flow of water that came up to my knees, I pressed on through the darkness. My sense of smell had already gone numb, so I didn't have to worry about the stench of the sewage. Once inside, we came to several branching paths. The SDF soldiers seemed to know which one would lead where, and they marched on without hesitation. And then we came out of the sewer and back into a riverbed. It was dried up, just like the one we'd just been through. Didn't know if it was the same river or another one, and the two soldiers didn't tell me. Either way, I was glad to finally be out of the foul-smelling darkness. I tried to take a deep breath and fill my lungs with fresh air. But... what's he seeing now? Halfway through, I realized that the riverbed smelled even worse than the sewer. I took an involuntary step back, and then another. The sight in front of me was just that terrible. What was once a riverbed was now filled with bodies. Some of them had been burnt totally black, so it was impossible to tell how much death lay before me. And in the distance, I could see what looked like bonfires. They were burning despite the rain. The fires were consuming the mountains of flesh that once were human bodies. We're almost there. I know it's rough, but can you run? Huh? Yeah. The SDF soldier spoke to me. And then I came back to my senses. If it weren't for these two, I wouldn't have been able to stay sane. We ran through the riverbed, one of them in front of me, the other behind. I could hear the constant drone of the helicopters above me. Sometimes the searchlights got very close. Each time they did, I hid in the piles of bodies until they passed. I'd seen this many times before as I wandered through the world lines. Oh boy. So even when he tried to put it all behind him, it still found him. I had seen death. I'd seen the moments when people had died. But at the same time, I'd never experienced what happened to a dead person after they were left out for a long time. More than fear, more than sorrow, the thing that hit me first was the smell of death. The rotting stench ate away at my body, not my soul. My whole body was rejecting it. It made me feel sick. Thinking that way meant trampling on the dignity of the dead. But I couldn't help it. The Valley of Hinnom. I remembered that phrase. That was what that strange attacker had said that night, when they came after Dr. Leskinen, Maho, and me. It is better for you to enter life with one eye than to have two eyes and be thrown into the Valley of Hinnom. That valley was the origin of the word Gehenna, meaning hell. It was said that flames burn there every night, scorching the heavens themselves. Those who died merciless deaths with anger or misery in their hearts were flung into the flames, their souls becoming black smoke that rained hatred down on the land. What I stared at now was Gehenna. The two soldiers led me to a half-collapsed subway tunnel. The lights were all off because there was no electricity, but there were 3 armored cars in camo colors, with their headlights on to illuminate the way. They were 4-wheel drive, off-road vehicles covered in thick chunks of armor, but I didn't see any real weapons. You can take the subway route to escape to Saitama. I hear it's still safe at Aruma base. If you can get that far, you should be able to escape Kanto. Speaking of Aruma, I haven't seen Aruma in a long time.
Kanto...
Escape Kanto? Ask them about it. For now, just hurry. There were a lot of things I wanted to ask. Even as we spoke, I heard what sounded like gunshots outside the tunnel. The men forced me into the back seat of one of the cars. I like how it's just my mouth messing up. Like in my head, I said the word spoke, yet I said smoke out my mouth. Goodbye. Goodbye. I'll be praying for your safety. What? What about you guys? We have another mission to carry out. Farewell. The two soldiers who had brought me here saluted, then turned around and left the station. I felt like I was never going to see them again. The door of the armored car slammed shut with a heavy thud. The car's crew were SDF soldiers, just a little older than me. The diesel engine kicked to life, and the car raced down a tunnel that had originally been designed for trains. Of course, it wasn't a pleasant ride at all, but I didn't have any choice. There was no way I could tell them I wanted to go to Akihabara. I had no way to alter the worldline. I had to survive in this hellish world. And to survive, I needed to do what they said. My wants didn't matter at all. I wasn't even allowed to express them. I just did as they told me and ran. It was all I could do. But I had no idea that it would take an entire month. The story so far. The USSR starts experimenting with a time machine and America goes apeshit. Give me that time machine. USSR. I refuse. Eastern powers and Soviets get cocky. How's it feel to be you right now, huh? How's it feel? This brings us to the end of your regularly scheduled Cold War. US. I'm gonna bomb you from Japan. USSR. Then we'll invade Japan. Oh, shit. Oh, I think... Is it US or us? It might... Oh, I don't know. The lowercase s is us. So us. Oh shit, Japan. Japan is saying, oh shit. USSR is kicking ass. Hokkaido and any Japan are screwed. Are they coming for Central Japan now? People of Nagoya, get the fuck out. Amateurs who know nothing about strategy needs to shut the fuck up. The SDF may look like they're retreating, but they're actually got a defense line at Mount Fuji. They're about to start a counterattack. The Mount Fuji line. Who the hell is dumb enough to believe Japanese Imperial High Command? I know the W's are laughing. We'd better not start hearing calls for kamikaze pilots soon. Shut up, noob. Idiots like you are the real threat to Japan. Wait. What the hell happened to the collective right of self-defense? America's only interested in protecting Okinawa. So what's the hell is the SDF doing getting sent off to Siberia? How are they supposed to protect the country? You protect it, Chicken Hawk. You want to fight? Go volunteer. They say they aren't getting enough recruits. Are they going to start conscription soon, you think? What's the point of conscripting a bunch of fat otaku? They just get in the way. War these days require professional soldiers. Says the fat otaku who doesn't want to go to war. There are barely any professional soldiers left in Japan. Our masters in America sent them all around the globe, and then stuck them here. I stuck them there. You guys will probably be getting your conscription notices soon. Good luck. I'm a chick, so I don't care. In other words, if we get a sex change, we don't have to go, right? The real enemies of Japan are its own citizens, huh, asshole? So, seriously, are we going to be split up like Germany? It's likely. They say there's a provisional government forming in Okinawa. They're all set to abandon East Japan and just have America protect the West. Those incompetents in the government might honestly do it. Is this really the time to bash politicians? Traitorous shill? Traitor? Shill. Strategically, America can't let go of Okinawa. and Japan wants to keep some kind of government. That means that making a provisional government in Okinawa is the best option. You bashed the hell of Okinawa up until now, and now you're telling me this? Shut up, traitor. So if I'm a traitor, what are you? If you're posting on 8chan right now, that means you're either fled the country or ran to Okinawa. Is this today's you don't get to talk thread? The reason it took a month to get to Okinawa was that we were losing the war. Supposedly, the plan had been to ferry me by plane to Okinawa once I arrived at Aruma base. But the constant bombing had slowed us down, so they gave up on the plane and decided I would escape to Kyushu by ground. There was more than one attack by Soviet spies and assault teams. Some of the SDF soldiers protecting me died. But when I got to Sasebo, I was able to get on a maritime SDF escort ship, and it managed to escape to Okinawa. Why were they doing all this for me? No matter how many times I asked, no one would answer. I mean, you can pretty much guess, can't you? Okinawa in winter was covered in thick clouds. Come to think of it, I hadn't seen a real break in the clouds for a whole month. I was thinking about that when I was loaded into a van with dark tinted windows that had come to pick me up from the port. Inside the car was not only the driver, but a middle-aged man sitting in the front passenger seat. He was very short, perhaps only around 150 centimeters tall. But he had the air of a military veteran, and even though he was fully dressed, I could tell he was extremely muscular. Rentaru Okabe, right? Correct? Shimoyama? I'm Shimoyama, with the Ministry of Defense's Intelligence Security Command. We're going to make a stop at the airport, and then head to the Okinawa Defense Bureau in Kadena. I'm sure you're tired from your long journey, but I'll have to ask you to hang in there a while longer. Right. I heard that Tokyo had been destroyed. The major functions of the Japanese government were now headquartered out of the Okinawa Defense Bureau, to allow for better cooperation with the American forces stationed nearby. That's what Shimoyama explained to me. In other words, the place I was heading to was the core of Japan's defenses. Once I arrived, would I understand why it was so important that all those soldiers were willing to die to protect me? Uh-oh. Oh. The car stopped in front of Naha Airport for a while. And then I saw a surprising pair get aboard. Somebody you know? Yuki? And the tomboy? All the way out here? Where did they pick us from? Okabe. Fubuki. Wow, it's really Okarin. You're Yuki and Nakase. I wasn't expecting to see them here. But they were the first people I knew who I'd met since coming to this worldline. That alone was almost enough to make me cry. But still, I couldn't just sit there and be happy. What about Mayuri? Do you know where she is? She's fine. Yuki nodded, as if trying to make me feel better. She was just with us. Just with you? That's right. Mayushi and Rumiho. and Luca, and Kaede. We got to the airport this morning. We got to the airport this morning. We were all waiting because they said we could go to some place called the Defense Bureau, where we'd be safe. They just said they'd take Fubuki and me there first. And then they had us get inside the car, where we found you. Anyway, glad everybody's safe. Since Daru and Suzuha weren't mentioned, I was going to ask about them, but... Sorry. Can you talk about this later? Shimoyama cut me off, and the car started moving. The plan is for your families to arrive at the Okinawa Defense Bureau eventually. We already have them under our protection. Really? I'm so glad. Your other friends are all in the car behind us. You haven't been separated, so don't worry. I took a quick look around and saw another identical van a little behind us. So Mayuri and the others were there. Then we'll see them later, right? Of course. Yuki let out a sigh of relief. But then I started to wonder about something else. Why were we split into different cars? This van could hold at least another 3 people. If we squeeze tight, it could easily hold everyone. Or was there some reason they'd put me, Yuki, and Fubuki into the same car? The car drove alongside the Okinawa monorail for a while and then went south down a wide bypass. It's so dark. Huh? What was that? Nothing. Just... There are all these stores, but they're all dark. There were lots of franchise restaurants, big supermarkets, cafeterias for tourists, and rent-a-car places all jammed together along the side of the road. But all of them were dead silent, and their lights were turned off. Barely any of the streetlights were turned on, and the only cars were Japanese and US military vehicles. I didn't see anyone out walking. There's a blackout in effect, as well as a curfew past 5 p.m. Okinawa may be safe. This is still wartime. Things can't be like they were. I can't wait for the war to end and everything to go back to normal. Wartime, huh? Tell me, Okabe. The Okinawa you knew was a bright, fun place, even at night, wasn't it? Oh, I wouldn't know. I've never been to Okinawa before. That's a shame. Then I pray you get to come back for a good vacation sometime. This really is a nice island. The car headed up from the bypass over a land bridge, and then to another road. We quickly came to a long tunnel. I actually wanted to ask the 3 of you some questions before we got to the bureau. That's why I have you riding with me. Well, I understand wanting to ask me questions. Why them? My guess was right. That meant there was something he wanted to ask just the 3 of us. But why us 3? I wasn't particularly close to Yuki or Fubuki. I'd only even started talking to them a few months ago. And then I shook my head. That was before the worldline changed. Maybe things were different in this worldline. I had no idea what my relationship was to anyone else in this worldline. Since the SDF had been treating me so well, I didn't want to make Shimoyama suspicious. I decided it would be best to leave most of the talking to Yuki and Fubuki. Yuki Amane. Yes? Shimoyama spoke to Yuki first. Yuki went stiff when her name was called. I could feel it even sitting next to her. I feel like S has messed me up the most for some reason. You don't know where Itaru Hashida and his little sister are, do you? Little sister. Suzuha? That must be Suzuha. That would mean that even in this world line, Suzuha had come from the future and gotten to know Yuki and the others while pretending to be Itaru's sister. And the SDF evidently didn't know where Daru and Suzuha were. No, Yuki fell silent and glanced over to me, as if expecting help. But I didn't know where they were either. I didn't even have any memories of this world line, so I had no way of answering. Other than saying I don't know. But Yuki's attitude bothered me. It was as if she knew where they were, and was deliberately hiding it, and that I was supposed to be hiding it too. I could figure that out. I'm sure Shimoyama could too. A strange tension filled the car. Yuki was trying to hide it? From whom? You're sure you don't know? Shimoyama turned around from the front passenger seat and asked again. I'm sorry. Yuki bowed her head in apology. But you were very close to him, weren't you? You were his lover, and yet you heard nothing? Lover? You know that cell phones don't work anymore, right? There are plenty of ways to get in touch with someone besides a cell phone. But I really don't. Nothing from his sister either. Nothing. By the way, I'm told that you were researching something with Hashida, Okabe. Huh? I wasn't sure how to react when the conversation suddenly turned towards me. Researching? Researching what? Uh-oh. If I panic, I'll make them suspicious. What were you researching? I would just have to give him the most harmless answers I could. It wasn't really research. It was more like inventions. Inventions? Like whether you could attach a CCD camera to a bamboo copter to do aerial photography. Or whether you could use the heat from a vacuum cleaner as a hairdryer. Oh? That's interesting. Then you weren't, say, making something unbelievable and running away from us so that we wouldn't find out what it was. Running away? Damn. I responded. That was a mistake. But did that mean that Daru and Suzuha were hiding from the SDF amidst all this chaos? The SDF had risked their lives to protect me over the past month. Shouldn't I be asking them for help? I got even more confused. If you don't know, then that's fine. We'll talk about Hashida and his sister some other time. Somebody, please tell me what the right answer is. How am I supposed to respond here? Katsumi Nakase. There's something else I wanted to ask you. He's talking about Fubuki. Me? This time, it was Fubuki's turn to jump up in her seat. No. Don't get so nervous. It's nothing big. Or so Shimoyama said. But Fubuki was clearly starting to get scared. Her reaction was strange. It was too strong. Maybe the self-defense forces weren't simply protecting us. For one thing, there was no way normal civilians like us merited such important treatment. How are you... I hate that he's a genius in his own right, but he's also so stupid. He did this a lot in the first game, where he never put anything together until way after the fact. He mentioned Hashida and Suzuha, and you're asking, what were they after? It's gotta be the time machine. Clearly, you're still involved with the time machine research. That's why Hashida is clearly hiding, because of the time machine. Like, put it together, man. Like, it's been a month, so you can't even argue about him being dazed from reading Steiner or anything. He's had a whole month to try to think things through. But then, what were they after? No, I could guess. Oh, did I speak too soon? Okay, but still, you shouldn't have even asked the question. Okay, at least he kind of put it together. At least faster than he did in the first game. The time machine. This war started with Russia's time machine experiments. And of course, Nakabachi was involved. I learned from some of the soldiers that even in this worldline, he'd sought asylum in Russia. And Suzuha was a time traveler from the year 2036. If Suzuha was here in this era, that meant that it was Daru who had made the time machine that brought her here. If you had a time machine, you could change the outcome of this war. It would make sense if that's what the Japanese government thought, and if that was why they were trying to capture Daru, Suzuha, and their friends. Once I realized that, the whole situation started to feel terrifying to me. Yeah, at least he did get it together. Usually it takes him longer. Was this car really headed towards the Okinawa Defense Bureau? And if it was, were they really going to keep us safe there? About the physical you underwent last week. Was there some problem? No. You've almost recovered from the wounds you sustained in Tokyo, and health-wise, you're fine. But you're under a lot of stress. Oh. Well, it's not surprising. You survived that terrible bombing. It's no exaggeration to say that most civilians have PTSD now. But it seems that your symptoms are a little different than most people's. You have very realistic dreams, for example. In particularly severe instances, they could almost be called waking dreams. I'm told at times you lose the ability to tell the difference between dreams and reality. Is he talking about reading Steiner? Isn't that just PTSD, though? Fubuki was too scared to speak, so Yuki interrupted curtly. It was rare to see Yuki act like this. If nothing else, I'd never seen it before. It was plain now. Yuki didn't trust Shimoyama. In fact, she considered him an enemy. No, it's very strange. Shimoyama paused a moment for effect, and rubbed his chin. There are others who say they have very similar dreams. Not just one or two. What? Wasn't this starting to happen in the worldline we just came from? That Okabe just came from? There was like a sickness about people like that. I guess it's only starting to happen now in this one? Of course, the degree to which they suffer from this problem changes. but we found more than 10 in Japan alone. They exist in other countries too. Well, we've only got information from the West. That's just a coincidence, isn't it? Fubuki was incredibly frightened, so I spoke in her place. Puchin? You've heard of Puchin, right? Suddenly, Shimoyama turned his gaze towards me and asked me a question. Uh-oh. Is that something you're supposed to know? Was that a trick question? Puchin. Oh. So you do know. The Soviet General Secretary, right? I almost said the President of Russia, but managed to stop myself. The Soviet Union still existed in this world line. Puchin's title was General Secretary, not President. I heard that during my time at Aruma. Oh, we almost did it too. Correct. But interestingly enough, Nakase referred to him as the President of Russia. What? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I'm not really what you'd call a good student. No, that's not it. It's one of the strange things about all the people who have these dreams. They all call him President Puchin. And they all call... Do I have to say these names? Golba, Gorbachev, and let's send presidents too. That's why the scientists have started calling it President's Disease. Not a terribly clever name, if you ask me. No way. Is he talking about reading Steiner? There was a strong chance that people beside me had the power, even if not as accurately. Probably acutely. I'd never found out for sure, but what Forrest had said in the Alpha Worldline certainly suggested it. So it was certainly possible that Shimoyama's waking dreams were actually the effects of reading Steiner. If they were all aware of the Worldline shift a month ago, just like me, if Fubuki had the same memories of the other Worldline that I had, it would make perfect sense that she called Puchin a president. Oh, hydrate? Thank you, Corin. Unfortunately, that's not the problem with my slight stuttering and tripping of words. I also just have a bit of a frog in my throat. I'm not even going to try that again. She said their names. Don't worry, the stutter happens sometimes, yeah. Especially as someone who rarely talked in the first place, so yeah. You don't know them? Didn't they teach that in the world history? I only took science classes in high school. I thought everyone knew about them. Do kids today not know who they are? I find it hard to believe you're all that ignorant. I'm sure you know all about them, right, Okabe? Yeah, I suppose so. Perestroika? And Perestroika, and the fall of the Berlin Wall. Yeah, they were in the textbooks. Yeah, he just tricked you, didn't he? I was about to say, as soon as it also went off in my mind. The second after the words were out of my mouth, an alarm went off in my head. Something was wrong. There was something strange about what Shimoyama was saying. And then I realized. The East and West were caught up in the middle of a world war. How could the Berlin Wall have fallen? And could Gorbachev really execute Perestovka? By the time I realized he'd tricked me, it was too late. My panic appeared on my face. You too, huh? And you were deliberately trying to hide it, weren't you? So the information was right after all. You know something important. Listen, Okabe. I want you to tell me. Shimoyama suddenly laughed. It was a bitter laugh, almost eerily so. Gorbachev. Letson. Who are these people you all keep talking about? We don't have any data on them, and neither do any of the American intelligence agencies. That data doesn't exist. Doesn't exist? I looked over at Yuki. From the look on her face, I could tell that she really had no idea who they were. Perestovka? The fall of the Berlin Wall. Did these things really happen? Tell me, please. But I couldn't answer. I was thinking of something completely different. I suddenly realized why the worldline might have changed a month ago on Christmas Eve. What if Russia used the time machine that day, in an experiment to change the past? The goal of the experiment would have been to stop the collapse of the Soviet Union. Pretty much what I expected. And if the result of them changing the past was this worldline. How foolish. A single change to the past and the butterfly effect makes the entire world so different. Did they know how many people had died? Do you think they care? They're going to war killing people. Have you and your friends really experienced the history of a different world? I just can't believe it. It's just nonsense cooked up by some crazy scientists. He was about to push me further when we heard the sound of an incoming call on a cell phone. Shimoyama grunted and took his phone out of his pocket. This is Shimoyama. Yeah, we're on our way to the bureau. What? What do you mean? It wasn't attacked, was it? Oh, maybe. Damn it. That's the problem with these idiots. What country do these politicians think they're working for? Oh, is it America? Does America want us? Shimoyama's finger slammed down on the end call button, so hard I thought the phone would break. There was a look of rage on his face. We're changing our destination. Head to Kadena Base, Gate 2. His words were filled with irritation as he spoke to the driver. Changing destinations. Who was he just talking to? As I sat there confused, Shimoyama started to call someone else. This is Shimoyama. We're changing our destination. We'll meet at Gate 2 at Kadena Base. That was all he said before he hung up. What's going on? The situation's changed. Okabe is heading to a U.S. military base. Okay, yeah, the U.S. wants us.
そのまま米軍機でアメリカ行き、なんていう楽しい旅行が待っているかもしれんな。
From there, he might get to take a fun trip to the U.S. Air Force plane to America. On a U.S. Air Force plane to America. What? America? I'll ask them to make sure you get first-class accommodations. But don't get your hopes up. They don't listen to us any more than you listen to a yapping pet dog. Why America? I don't know if it's the CIA or the NSC, but someone wants us to hand you over. But why? Ask them yourself. And then he turned back towards the front and fell silent, refusing to answer any of my questions. The car went down the road for a while, until we got off at an exit that read South Okinawa. We stopped in front of the gate. Several U.S. soldiers had evidently been waiting for my arrival. Once we hand you over to the Americans, we're not going to get any accurate information from them. So this is my last chance. Shimoyama turned around from the front passenger seat and looked straight at me. His eyes were desperate and begging. Tell me, what are we supposed to do from now on? Please. I remembered all the soldiers in Tokyo who'd fought so desperately to protect me. Were they fighting to help someone else in Tokyo right now? Or were they already... I don't know. Okabe. I really don't know. Do you think I can do something about this war all by myself? Knowing that Gorbachev and Yeltsin were presidents of Russia, or that they brought a dramatic end to the Cold War, and that doesn't actually help anything. I could hear the sound of another car getting closer. Shimoyama sighed and opened the passenger side door. Get out. I exited the car as I was told. Yuri. Oh, God. Ocarine! You know, I usually think she looks better without hats. I don't really like the hats she wears. But honestly, not bad. Mayuri got out of the van behind us and ran over to me. Mayuri! Right, I don't need to say their names if that's all they say. My childhood friend flung herself into my arms, and I held her tight. I finally get to see you. I'm so glad you're safe. I could feel her warmth. Mayuri was here. I had never gone almost a whole month without seeing her before. And this was wartime. I couldn't easily contact her like I could in the old worldline. So I'd been so worried about whether or not Mayuri was okay. There's no exaggeration to say that I'd survived this far just to make sure. I'd erased the entire Alpha worldline to save her. No matter what happened, I wanted her to be safe. Well, now I gotta say it. Ocarine, you're hurting me. Oh, sorry. I held her too closely. I took a step back. Mayushi believed, you know. Mayushi believed she'd get to see Ocarine again. Yeah. Oh god, you're here too. Hooray! You're safe, Nya. Oh, here's the whole group. Still looks like a girl, but I guess slightly less. Dressed like this. Kinda. I heard two more voices I recognized. Faris and Luca, and behind them I saw Kaede. I'm glad you're all safe. Okabe, I felt myself getting choked up too when I saw Lukako cry. I exchanged greetings with Kaede too. Fubuki had grabbed to her like a little kid. She was still pale and trembling. Faris, I guess you're not wearing your maid outfit for once. She's still doing the cat thing, but she's not going by the name, apparently. It's been a long time since anybody's called me Faris, Nya. Faris spoke sadly. Then she put her hand around my neck and held me close. Her little pink lips got close to my ear, as if she was about to kiss me. Hey. What was going on? Don't be so embarrassed, Nyan. She laughed mischievously. Then Faris, no, Rumiho Akiha, whispered into my ear while pretending to kiss me. Be careful. Don't trust the Ministry of Defense or the Americans. Adults are all liars. None of them tell the truth. I mean, I'm an adult. Actually, you're an adult. That's right. Faris had a special talent. Cheshire Break. She was incredibly good at looking into someone's heart and seeing what they were thinking. Yeah, I just figured that out. One of them just tricked me. Faris looked surprised and took a step back. That's sad, Nyan. Yeah. And then I heard the sound of another engine. This time it was coming from beyond the gate and inside the base. It belonged to a black luxury car with an E on the license plate. Behind it was a minibus. The two of them stopped in front of the gate. It was time for my reunion to end.
Welcome.
Oh, I don't have to translate. An American soldier as tall as a basketball player got out of the car. And I have to. Welcome, everyone. My name is Haman. His Japanese was good, but not great. Everyone, except Mr. Okabe, please get on the bus. He was smiling, but I could tell he wasn't going to allow any arguments. And the other American soldiers were still carrying their rifles, as they stood guard without smiles. Shimoyama and the other Japanese soldiers were watching us from a distance. They didn't try to stop us. They were just looking downwards. Huh? Everyone but Ocarine? What do you mean? There's no need to be scared. We're just going to talk to you a little. And then we'll send you right to the Okinawa Defense Bureau. Come along. It's fine. Don't worry. But... Yuki, take care of Mayuri. Okay. Yuki nodded and put her arm around Mayuri's I struggle between these two words. Shoulder. shoulder. As she led her to the bus, everyone else followed. Until my parents, I said hi. Are his parents alive? Once everyone but me was on, the minibus left immediately. The area in front of the gate fell silent. It was hard to believe this existed in the same world as all the places I'd crossed on my escape to Japan's Maid Island. Alright, Mr. Okabe, come this way. He told me to get in the back seat of the black luxury car. What would happen to me once I got inside? I tried to think about it, but realized there was nothing I could do. I was just about to get into the car when... Oh shit! What? I didn't get to read that. I mean, I sort of saw it, but... Okabe, run! If you go to America, you won't come back alive. Shimoyama's scream was cut off by the sound of gunfire. You let my friends go, though. I guess trying to protect everyone from getting killed over just one person would have been harder, but now they can hold my friends hostage. In the corner of my eye, I saw the American soldiers, firing without hesitation. No way. I tried to turn around when... Get inside! A large hand blocked my vision as Haman held me down. I couldn't hear Shimoyama's voice anymore. Through the gaps between his fingers, I could see that nothing was moving. And I knew exactly what that meant. Oh no. I was shoved into the car before I had time to think about it. This is... I tried to open my mouth, but Haman looked into my eyes and shook his head. I wasn't supposed to talk then. Haman sat next to me, then closed the door. The car started to move. Actually, it's probably more like Hammond. I don't know. Soon, we turned down a different road than the one the minibus was taking. America, huh? I'd never been there before. What were they going to do to me there? Use me as a guinea pig? Cut open my head and dissect my brain? I probably wasn't going to be able to do any tourist things. I felt like screaming, but tried my best to stay calm. There's someone I want you to meet. Hammond suddenly... Wait. If the world line changed... When did it change? He said that, Kurisu's father still seeked asylum. So did everything change after that point? Actually, yeah, because Daru and Suzuha were a thing, so yeah. I was about to say, is Kurisu still dead or not? But yeah, she definitely is. Maybe I should say Hammond. Hammond suddenly spoke, and then he handed me something. I took it before I even looked at what it was. When I checked, it was a normal smartphone. It's not locked. Just hit that button. Confused, I pressed the button as I was told. And then something appeared on the screen. Imagine it's what's it called? Amadeus? Oh my god, it is. Kurisu. It was the Amadeus Kurisu Makase. Why does the US military have Amadeus? I was about to ask Hammond when, for the first time in about a month, that feeling came back. Russia's doing it again. We barely even got to talk to her. I wanted to at least... I wanted to hear what she was going to say. The whole world and all its colors began to shift. There was a feeling of instability, like my brain was unable to recognize where it was. And then dizziness and a sense of falling, like you get when you're anemic. I could hear the blood vessels deep within my ears, and they sounded really loud. The sense of floating finally stopped, and my surroundings coalesced into firm shapes. Flashbang. Mayuri was in front of me. I was in the lab, in the room I knew well. There was no trace of Okinawa anywhere. Mayushi's going to get embarrassed if you keep staring like that. I realized that I was staring at Mayuri. I looked around the room. And Daru was sitting in front of the PC like always, hunched over with his back towards me. Suzu! Best girl. Suzuha was reading a magazine on the couch. On the open page, I could read the title. See what I even want to try. New encephalitis strikes worldwide. Are you in danger? The same couch. The same cheap fridge. And Daru's computer desk. The dirty curtain that cut off the development room from the rest of the lab. The wall clock, which I picked up out of a garbage dump, told me it was past 6. I looked at the calendar and 2010 was already gone. It was January 2011. The worldline had changed again. I was back to the old worldline?
No. Mayuri.
Hey, Mayuri.
ここって
This is Akihabara, right?
秋葉原だよな。違うのか。
Is it not Akihabara? It's Akihabara.
今日って何日だっ
Well,
け
what day is it again?
21日
Actually, it's more like, what day is it again?
ゴリバチョフ
The 21st?
知ってるか
Do you know who Gorbachev is?
ゴリバチョフどこかで
I don't want to keep repeating that name. I think I've heard that name.
ペレストロイカっしょ恐ろしやあでもゴリビってそれ時代だっけ
Rostovka, right? Russia. Or was Gorbachev back from the Soviet days?
やっぱロシアといえば
These days, when you think Russia, you think Putin. I'm sure if he was in front of me and he glared at me, I'd pee my pants.
プーシーさんなら知ってるよ
I know Putin. He's the president of Russia, right?
実はワンコが好きなんだ
Did you know he likes doggies?
秋田県
He keeps an Akita. I saw it on the
ニュー
news.
スでやっ
大統領
President. Yeah,
そう
that's right.
そうだ
He's the president.
大統領だ
I said Russia was maybe messing with the timeline again, but if the Soviet Union is gone again, then someone else got their hands on a time machine. The Americans? Because they had a Kurisu with them? The Amadeus Kurisu? Mayuri, Daru, and Suzuha all looked over at me suspiciously. It felt like a long time since anyone had looked at me that way. I was back. I no longer had to worry that I might be killed at any second. I felt incredibly relieved. But, at the same time, I wondered. Why had the worldline changed again? I needed to calm down and think for a bit. I went up to the roof and booted up the web browser on my smartphone. Unlike during wartime, it connected immediately. I was amazed at the speed. Just getting an internet connection in the last world line had been difficult enough. I started by searching for Golba, and the results came back instantly. Perestovka. The Soviet Union's first and last president. The August coup d'etat and the collapse of the Soviet Union. All the keywords I hoped to see were there. As soon as I confirmed that the Soviet Union was dismantled at the end of the 20th century and no longer existed, I closed the browser. Then why had the world line shifted again? I hadn't done anything. I didn't have any way to affect the divergence value. So what had changed it? Daru and Suzu? Had whoever had performed the first experiment in Russia undone it? Had they watched its progress for a month and then been satisfied? Were they going to keep doing it? And if they did, would I be caught up in it each time? For them to do that, they would need to have your ability. Which, technically everyone has it, but like... they would need to have it on your level. It's so cold. It was a mistake to come outside without a coat on. Nothing I could come up with by myself would be anything more than a guess. I went back to the lab. The wreaths we put up at the entrance for the Christmas party were still up.
Christmas party.
That Christmas party, huh? You don't even know how it ended, either. It had only been a month, hadn't it? It felt like a million years ago. I had no memories of what I'd done in this world line after the Christmas party.
Oh,
come to think of it, we left the decorations up. We should take those down. You and Miss Fubuki collapsed during the party, right? So there was a big fuss, and we sort of forgot to clean up. Fubuki? Shouldn't Yuki have also collapsed then? Nakase and I collapsed? Was that when the world line changed? Everyone remembered that I collapsed at the Christmas party. Which means I would come back to the same world line as the one I'd been in before. If this was Russia's doing, it was terrifying to think they could control the world line to that degree. And there was one more thing. It worried me that Fubuki had collapsed too. I stood there, lost in thought. Daru and Mayuri looked a little concerned. What about Yuki then?
Okari?
Oh, come to think of it, I was wondering how Nakase is doing. I quickly came up with an excuse. Fubuki's still in the hospital. What? In the hospital? Even though it's been a month? She says she's fine, but they won't let her leave. I've heard that lately. Unless you were really, really sick, they wouldn't let you stay in the hospital for very long. Was Fubuki sick with something? They still think she's got this, I guess. Suzuha whispered as she held up the page of the magazine she was reading. It's about the sickness thing. About people having memories that they shouldn't have. Oh, that's what they're calling it. Cephalitis? Cephalitis? Encephalitis? I have no idea how to pronounce that at all. English may be my main language, but with deaf parents, I do not know what letters to combine and sound things out. I just know PH is an F, obviously. Hello, Kyo. Welcome in. Thanks for your daily check-in. How are you today, Kyo? I borrowed the magazine. I'm doing good, Kyo. They were talking about this last November. I'd seen a glimpse of it on the news. Outside of Japan, they'd seen almost 100 people, albeit with mild symptoms. In Japan, there were 10 people being kept at hospitals for examinations, or so it said. So it had made its way to Japan? And one of those 10 was Fubuki then. Was it transmissible by air? We didn't catch it at the Christmas party, did we? They're talking about reading Steiner, dude. I knew that getting nervous wouldn't help anything, but still wondered. Hey, shouldn't you go to the hospital too, Ocarine? You were in worse shape than she was, you know?
ああ、考えておくよ。
Yeah, I'll think about it. I gave a half-hearted answer to Mayuri, and turned back to the magazine. Strange symptoms being found all over the world. Cause unknown. Sudden memory loss. Memories differ from those of the people around you. Losing all sense of the passage of time. Losing the ability to tell the difference between dreams and reality. And sometimes having waking dreams. The article was filled with things like that. This was like...
まるで
This was just like reading Steiner.
みたいじゃないか。
And it matched exactly with what Shimoyama had told me at the other worldline. You have very realistic dreams, for example. In particularly bad instances, they can almost be called waking dreams. I'm told at times you lose the ability to tell the difference between dreams and reality. There are others who say they have similar dreams. And not just one or two. I'd wondered back then if Fubuki possessed reading Steiner too. Maybe the reason she collapsed at the Christmas party wasn't some new disease, but the unexpected activation of reading Steiner. That would mean her diagnosis was wrong. The unnecessary tests and treatments they gave her wouldn't help a bit. It looked like I needed to talk to Fubuki. I ended up going over that day. She was at a large general hospital with a medical student department, located in Mizu. It was close enough to Akihabara. I could walk, and getting there was easy. Since she might get the wrong idea if I went alone, I encouraged Mayuri to come with me. I hoped it would look like I was only coming as an afterthought. But it ended up being a bigger deal than I expected. When they heard Mayuri was going, Yuki and Kaede decided to come too. Evidently, they'd all been to visit Fubuki several times before they knew exactly where she was located. They walked down the halls without hesitation. It was almost 8 when visiting hours ended, so we needed to hurry. But as we passed by a nurse's station, there was a minor commotion. A woman in her late 40s wearing a gray jersey was yelling at the doctors and nurses. Enough of this! When do I get to go home? We've told you, only after you've been examined and got the treatment you need. You weren't giving me any kind of treatment. And what was supposed to be a quick exam ended with me stuck here for a month. What am I supposed to do about my job? Calm down. There's still a lot we don't know about this disease. Without proper examination and treatment, it's dangerous. Liar! The TV said not to worry because it wasn't that bad. We've told you before. That's only if you get the appropriate treatment. One of the nurses just told me you were dizzy. I just felt anemic because dinner was late. I'm just fine. Let me go home. The woman was about ready to grab the doctor by the throat. Several female nurses held her back, then dragged her off somewhere with reassuring words. That scared me.
吹雪ちゃんは大丈夫かな。
You think Fubuki's okay? The girls hurried even faster down the hallway. Fubuki was in a 4-person room at the very end of the hallway. We hesitantly peeked inside. She's crying.
この声。
That voice. We could hear moaning coming from beyond the curtain surrounding Fubuki's bed. Mayuri went pale and hurriedly ripped them open.
吹雪ちゃん。
Flashbang. What the hell? Fubuki made a strange noise and spun around as we came in. I looked closer and saw that she was sitting on the bed with her legs crossed, watching a show on the LCD TV attached to it. Is she watching a sad show? Yes. Or a movie. Her eyes were red and swollen with tears, but given the fact that she had a stick of pokey in her mouth, she was probably just crying over a soap opera.
あれ。おお、みんな。
Oh, you guys came to see me. Fubuki wiped away her tears and welcomed us with her usual smile.
まゆしはドキドキしちゃったよ。
You scared Mayushi. I thought you were crying.
が泣いて紛らわしいんだから。
You really scared us.
ごめんごめん。
Sorry. Even as she apologized, she tossed another chocolate-coated stick into her mouth. Her hair was tied up, and she was wearing some kind of headgear. At first, I thought it was just that she was too lazy to do her hair, but evidently not. There were cords coming out of the headgear that were attached to a belt around her waist. Were they monitoring her brainwaves? As unobtrusively as possible, I took a look at the other patients around the room. They were all wearing the same headgear, so they're all patients of the same thing that she has, reading Steiner. They may have been giving it to all the whatever patients. Can I just call it NSEF? I'll call it NSEF. Encephalitis? Encephalitis. Maybe I can say it. Okay, maybe I can say it.
吹雪ちゃん、ごめんね。みんなで押しかけちゃって。
Sorry to bring everybody over, Fubuki.
とんでもない。大歓迎
Not
だ
at
よ。
all. You're very welcome.
それに、
And I don't think
オカリ
Okurin
ンさんま
would
で来
come.
てくれるとは思わなかった。
Fubuki stared at me intently. She'd never done that before, so I started to wonder if there was something on my face.
俺と同じように倒れたって言うから。
They said you collapsed like I did, so I got
具合
worried.
は
How are you doing?
全然平気。なんで退院できないのか。
Just
本
fine.
当わ
I
かんない
really
よ
don't understand why they won't let me leave.
毎日検査
Every
する
day
だ
they
けで
just do
他には
exams.
何にもやる
There's
こと
nothing for
な
me
い
to
し
do. I'm so
退
bored.
屈で退屈で。しかもさ、病室
And you're
って
not allowed to
携帯
use your phone in the
禁止なんだよ
rooms.
ね。
If I want to send a text, I have to go all the way to the lobby. And they turn off the lights at 9, so I can't watch the late night anime.
もう信じられない。
I really just don't believe this. Her bed was surrounded with portable game consoles, magazines, a miniature DVD player, anything to starve off boredom. And given all the half-empty boxes of snacks, it was hard to believe the disease was as serious as they said in the news.
オカリンさんは大丈夫なの？
Are you okay, Okurin?
ああ、
Yeah,
マユリにも言った
I
が。
told Mayuri this, but
こ
I'm
の通
fine.
りなんとも。
そっか。よかった。
I see. I'm glad. She seemed truly relieved, but she was still staring at me. If she went with us to the other world line, it was revealed that we have the same conditions, so she's probably wondering about that. And suddenly, Kaede started to fidget. Not only that, she blushed, then glanced at me, and then almost started to cry. She was acting really weird.
ん？楓ちゃん？どうかした？
What's wrong?
あの。
Kaede started fidgeting even more when she realized that everyone was looking at her. But she had no choice but to go over and whisper something in Fubuki's ear. She doesn't think that Fubuki suddenly fell in love with me, does she?
はあふぶきちゃん
The other girls tried to quiet Fubuki down. This was a hospital. There were other patients in the room. We couldn't make a fuss.
だって皆さんちょっと聞いてくださいよ
But listen to this, everybody.
ここにいらっしゃる
Miss Kaede Kuroshima here suspect me of secretly dating Okurin.
がみんなに隠れ
Well,
て
that's even worse.
こっそり付き合ってるんじゃないかって疑ってるんです
Why would she think that? Like, think that she likes me because of the way she's staring at me, sure, but dating? Now it was our turn to keep from shouting in surprise.
何を言い出すんだ
Where are you getting that from?
だってまゆりちゃんの話だと
Because, according to Mayuri,
ちゃんのお見舞いに
you were the one who wanted to come see Fubuki today, right?
おかり
それは
So?
そうだが
Well, that's true. But when I have come alone? There was another reason, but I couldn't say that.
それにさっきから
And
ふぶきちゃんと
Fubuki and Okurin were staring longingly at one
愛お
another.
しそうに見つめ合ってるし
No,
愛おしそうに見つめてない
we were
から
not staring longingly at one another.
ね
That's
そう
not
じゃ
it.
なくて、その
Fubuki tried to scratch her hair, but the headgear blocked her way and she gave up.
ちょっとリアルな夢をね
I had this really realistic dream.
リアルな夢
Realistic dream? I was startled. That may have been what I wanted to find out.
今日
Well, that was
の
easy.
夕方くらいかな
It was sometime this evening. I was kind of spacing out.
暇すぎちゃって
There's just nothing to do around here.
そしたらなんかねあんまり
And then somehow,
詳しくは覚えてないんだ
I
けど
don't really remember, but me and Okurin and Yuki were all taken somewhere in a car by these scary
怖い
men.
人に車に乗せられてどこかへ連れて行かれる夢を見ちゃったんだ
Okay, so she does remember that.
私も出てくるの
Why does Yuki not remember, though? Actually, no. Yuki... No. Yuki was genuinely confused. When he was asking her question, she honestly didn't know. So why was she there, then? Oh, because she was, Itaro's lover. I was there, too?
うん
Yeah. It was the same. That meant Fubuki had experienced the same things I'd gone through in the other world line. This evening would have been the same time I was experiencing it. I peeked through the curtains to make sure that none of the hospital staff were around.
みんな悪い
Sorry, guys,
中瀬さん
but can you leave me alone with Nakase for a
話
bit?
をさせてくれないか
Don't get the wrong idea, woman. You too.
まさか
No way.
違うって
It's not like that. I wasn't really sure how to handle that reaction.
それはマユシーたちには聞かれたくないこと
I mean, yes, but you didn't have to phrase it like that. You didn't have to say that. Is it something you don't want Mayushi and everyone else to know about?
病気のことについてなんだ
It's about her disease.
わかった
Oh, here comes perceptive Mayuri. Okay, I understand. Mayuri nodded and went outside the curtains. The other two looked bothered, but they followed her.
あの
中瀬さん
Nakase,
君の
did this dream
話
of yours
は
take place in Okinawa?
そうだね
Yeah, that's right.
うん
I think it was Okinawa.
沖縄
I
だっ
think
た
I saw a sign saying so when I was in the car.
車に乗ってたのは
Inside the car, there was you, me,
そし
and
てユキ
Yuki.
さん
Then the driver,
他に運
and a
転
short
手
man who was an SDF
背
soldier.
の低いじ
Yeah,
男の名前は
the man's name was Shimoyama. Fubuki suddenly went pale. She should have gone pale as soon as I said all the people that were in the car. Like, as soon as I mentioned the driver and the SDF guy. A dream about being in a car with Okinawa could be written off as a coincidence, but knowing the exact name of the man in that shared dream was a different matter entirely. I guess.
どうして
How? Why?
その男は君に
The man talked to you about waking dreams, and the president of
ロ
Russia.
シアの大統領の話も
That's right.
そして俺たちは
And then we were taken to a US Army base. There, you met up with Mayuri and the others and said goodbye to me.
俺とは
Fubuki was too stunned to speak. There was no room for doubt. My suspicion turned into a certainty. Fubuki had a stronger reading Steiner than most people, and remembered the other worldline as a relatively realistic dream.
夢の中でその下山って
In the
人
dream,
が言ってた
that Shimoyama guy
オ
said
カリンさんも私
that you and I both had memories of another
別
world.
の世界の記憶を持ってるんだ。
あ
Yeah.
それって本当だ
Was
った
he
んだ
right?
ああ
Yeah. I hesitated for a moment, but then I gave her a brief explanation of my own reading Steiner ability. The one thing I wanted to make sure she understood was that her dreams weren't caused by an illness. But her reaction wasn't what I expected.
だったら他にもいるかも。病気じゃない人。
Correct. Then, there may be others who aren't sick too.
そうなのか
There are?
暇だからみんなとね。
There's nothing to do, so I talk to the others a lot. About the dreams we have, and sometimes it's just amazing how similar they
それが
are.
ものすごくそっくりで。びっついさっきもね。隣の
There's a
部
kid
屋
at
に
elementary
してる
school who's in the next
中
room.
学生の
We
子が
became
言ってた
friends.
一度も行ったことないはずなのに
They said that they'd never been to
沖縄
Okinawa,
にいる夢を
but they had a dream that they were there. Tokyo
戦争で
had burned
東京が
down,
燃えちゃって
and the self-defense forces saved them and took them
自衛隊
there.
に助けられて
そ
あ
そうか
I see. Oh no. If that was true, then it wasn't just Fubuki. There were other patients who were being kept in the hospital for no reason, who didn't have any kind of disease at all. So you thought there was an actual sickness that just happened to have similar symptoms? Again, he should have put it together sooner. Like, maybe in the back of his mind he was kind of thinking it, but
お医者さんに話した方がいい
should I talk to the doctors? No.
いやとてもじゃないが
No,
信じてもらえる
I don't think they'd believe you. And if they started to think that your delusions were getting
妄想が
worse.
ひどくなったって死んだ
そっか
You're right.
他の人にも
You shouldn't tell the others
見
yet.
た方がいい
You don't want there to be a
騒
fuss.
ぎになったら大変
Yeah. And then Yuki poked her head through the curtain.
岡部さん看護師さんがこっちに来ます
Okabe, a nurse is coming.
面会時間おしまいですよ
Visiting hours are over for today. I looked at the clock. It was well past 8.
パタパタしちゃってごめんね
Sorry for being in such a rush, Fubuki.
今度は
Next time we'll come earlier so we don't...
早めに来るね
I need to drink water. Next time we'll come earlier so we have more time.
ああまゆし行っちゃやだ
Aw, Mayushi, don't go.
でもナースさんに怒られちゃう
But the
よ
nurse will get mad.
そんなの別にいいよ
Let them get mad. Sleep with me tonight.
私と一緒に寝て
Fubuki was back to her usual self. She grabbed Mayuri's hand and held it tight. Kaede chuckled and forced her to let go.
なるべく来てあげるから
Don't be selfish. We'll come as often as we can.
なるべくじゃやだよ
That's not good enough. Come tomorrow, and the day after. As soon as school's over. I'm so bored I could die. Fubuki flailed her arms and legs about. It was a bit too deliberate, if you ask me. Kaede patted her on the head.
はいはいそれじゃ
Right, right.
またね
Bye-bye. Mayuri and Yuki went over to pat her too, and before long she looked like a little puppy in a kennel being petted. We left her behind and exited the room. I was the last to leave, and before I did, I turned around and saw Fubuki staring at us from the bed. Our eyes met, so I nodded a little. It's okay. You're not sick, so don't worry. I don't know if she understood what I meant, but she nodded back. I want to try to go for 3 hours, but I am starting to struggle. The hospital walls were strangely silent after visiting hours were over. I checked my phone as I waited for the elevator.
Oh.
I had a Rhine message. Is it from... Oh, never mind. It was from Suzuha. I was going to ask if it was from Kurisu, but no. I want to talk in private. I'll wait for you to contact me. Something in the... The S's are messing me up. Something in the short message made me feel very tense. After I said my goodbyes to the others, I contacted Suzuha and... I'm also struggling to see where sentences end and where what words are behind my mic arm. She told me to come to the top of the radio building. When I arrived, she was standing silently on the dark roof. There was no trace of a smile on her face. Her eyes shone in the darkness as she glared at me. I felt a shiver run down my spine. This was not the Suzuha I was used to. Maybe this was her true self. Whatever she wanted to talk to me about, I was sure I wasn't going to like it. Sorry to bring you out here like this, Uncle Okarin.
話ってなんだ?
What did you want to talk about? Oh, I'm really not good at talking to people, or trying to persuade them, you know? From the way she stumbled over her words, it was clearly something she didn't want to talk about.
単刀直入に言ってくれ.
Just say it.
以前のお前なら
That's what the old you would have done,
多
right?
分そうしていただろ
Yeah, you're right.
う. もしかして俺のことを
Are you trying to break
気
this to
遣
me
ってくれてる
gently?
のか? そうか.
I see.
ありがとう.
Thanks. It's not really like that. Suzuha got a little annoyed and tried to say something back to me, but ended up swallowing her words.
実は俺
To be honest,
最初は
it
ちょ
was
っ
a
と
bit of a
ショッ
shock
ク
at
だった
first.
お前が
You were so different than the Suzuha I know.
全然
I can't help it. When the worldline changes, so does the environment you grew up in. And that changes your personality and how you think. Yeah, but I don't think
今
that
はそうは
anymore.
思わない
You're still the Suzuha I know.
鈴葉はやっぱり
No, I really am different. I'm not the Suzuha Amane you know, well, Uncle Okarin.
鈴葉
Suzuha. I followed you today.
尾行
Followed me? That's right. All the way into the hospital. What did she say? Why would she do that? No. I knew the answer without even asking. Good. There was only one reason she would do something like that.
俺が世界線を移動したことに
You realize that I jumped world lines. I'd always suspected that your reading Steiner might have activated on Christmas Eve. And not just then. Today, too. And now I'm sure. I deliberately avoided telling Suzuha that the world line had changed. It was obvious that she would react like this. See, now that that happened, without your involvement, but more or less involved you, indirectly, she's going to convince you to use the time machine, right? Now you have to.
聞かせて。ここはもう
Tell me,
前の世界
is this a different world line than it was before?
聞いてどうする？
What will you do with the answer?
いいから答えて。
Just tell me! Oh, damn.
これは命令だ。岡部倫太郎。
Okay, I know damn well you can't shoot me. Even if you have a time machine, you can't shoot me. This is an order, Rentaro Okabe. I gulped as I saw her pull a gleaming pistol out from her jacket. It was aimed right between my eyes. It's just a bluff.
だよな。
And this is the joke, right?
冗談でこんなことはしない。
I wouldn't do this as a joke. You would do it as a bluff, though. It felt like Suzuha was trying to revert to who she was when I'd first come to the Beta World Line. A woman who put her mission above everything else. She was so desperate it hurt to even look at her. What would happen if she shot me here? I imagined myself lying on the ground in a pool of blood. Oh, shouldn't have done that. In my mind, the image overlapped with Kurisu's dead body. I closed my eyes and grit my teeth, trying to avoid a flashback. I'd spent the last month trying to escape to Okinawa in the middle of a war, but I still wasn't used to having a gun pointed right at me.
もう一度聞く。世界線
I'll
は
ask you one more
変動したの
time.
か。
Did the world line change?
以前とは
Is this a
違う世界
different
なの
world than
か
it was before? Well, technically we came back to this one, so... But Suzuha's hands were shaking a little as she held the gun. That would have been unimaginable when she first come here from the future. Maybe she was ashamed of it, because she bit down on her teeth even harder. She's bleeding. She must have bit her lip when she did so, because a single trail of blood ran down her jaw and dripped onto the ground. I stared at the blood as I answered.
大丈夫だ。俺たちは
Don't worry.
以前の
We're
ま
in
ま
the
の
same
世
world
界
line
線
we
にい
were
る。
before.
本当に
You're sure?
ああ、
Yeah.
一度
It's
別
true
の
that
世
the
界
world
線
line
に移動
moved
したのは
once,
事実だが、
but we came back,
再び元に戻
I
った。
think. She just asked if you're sure, and now you say I think.
それをやったのは誰だ。ロシアか。
Who is responsible? Russia?
だと思う。
I think so.
とうとうタイムマシンの実験を開始したってこと
Which
か。
means they finally started experimenting with the time machine. I nodded.
それならもう一刻の猶予も
And
な
that
いじゃ
means
ない
there's no time to waste. Are you gonna drag me into the time machine?
やがて取り返しのつかないこと
If
が
they
起き
keep
る
experimenting, something will happen that can't be changed. It might
閉ざ
close
され
the
てしまう
path
か
to
もしれない
Steins Gate.
私はバカだ。
I'm a
悩んでる
fool.
場合じゃなかった
Shouldn't have wasted time
もう
worrying.
説得なんて終わりだ
I'm done trying to get you to change your mind. She's gonna drag me.
どうする気だ？
What will you do?
岡部倫太郎
Rintaro
私の
Okabe,
命令に従って
you're going to
もらう
follow my orders.
一緒に
You're coming back to July
7
28th with me.
月28日に行くんだ
Hang on, I had to ban someone. A best viewers comment.
拒否したら
And if I refuse,
拒否なんてさせない
I won't let you refuse.
お前はいいのか？それで
Are you okay with that?
何
この世界線をなかったことにしてしまって
Are you okay with erasing this world line?
うるさい
Shut up! Oh shit. Now how close was that to me? This makes me want to watch the anime again? I still have to watch the anime. I'm glad I did this one first, since the games are the originals. Or at least the base game is the original. It's good, I like it. I know there's some people have mixed feelings, and then a lot of other people do like it a lot. For me, I should be able to like it just fine. Like, I don't care too much about that kind of stuff, so it should be easy for me. I have low standards. It might be the nostalgia for me, maybe. But also, welcome in, Livy. How are you today? Did I do that right? I did. The OP is fire hacking into the gate is banging. I see, I see. That's good to hear then. Although, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be getting around to it anytime soon, but eventually I do need to. There was a horrible ringing in my ears, and a fierce pain in my eardrums. A second later, the smell of gunpowder passed by my face. If you do, I'd love to yap about it and see if you liked it. Alrighty. I'll be sure to mention it when I do. Also, what did Frosty say? Time travel tip, your future self wants you to join the Lunar Fan Guild. You know, I thought when I set up the Discord thing, I thought it'd be like a separate thing that it would mention every once in a while. I didn't think it'd become part of his chat summaries. I'm cackling and I didn't see that, yeah. I really do love Frosty. Frosty's amazing so much of the time. So she did shoot past our face. I don't think she grazed us, right? She really shot at me. Yes and no. Next time, it won't be a threat. I'll shoot you. She was glaring at me as if she was about to cry. I did time travel 1 hour today, aka daylight saving, yeah. It was like a week after daylight savings had started before I realized. Because at some point I realized that Ray was back to being at 10 p.m. for me. Or not p.m., a.m. Like Ryan's streams were at 10 a.m. And I thought he was like streaming 1 hour later than he usually does, but no. It was because we are linked back up 12 hours thanks to daylight savings. Because with daylight savings time, I'm 12 hours behind him. Without it, I'm 13 hours behind him. You have it 3 weeks earlier than Europe? Ah, okay. I see. It's a lot of the West, for the most part, right? Yeah. We had it 30 minutes ago, so you just time traveled. We stared at each other in silence. I tried as hard as I could to come up with something to calm her down, but nothing came to me. Nothing I could come up with would get her to change her mind. What should I do? Suzuha! Okarin! What are you doing? Suddenly, I heard Daru's voice. I turned and saw that he'd just come out of the door near the stairs. Dad, how? I got a message from Mayushi and Amaneshi. They said you'd contacted Okarin. I had a bad feeling, so I decided to look for you. Then I got a message from an unknown sender. An unknown sender? They sent me a URL that led to a map of this place. I thought you might be here, so I came right over. And then I heard a gunshot and it really scared me. I butt dial, that's me, the unknown sender. Daru's whole body was covered in sweat. Even as he spoke, large beads that were appearing on his forehead. He must have really hurried.
で、鈴葉、その銃
I
は
was already
何なの
old as fuck, so that 1 hour does not matter. Meanwhile, I'm even older than Kai. And I'm about to be even older come April. So, Suzuha, what's with that gun?
いや
Oh, Suzuha wasn't actually...
何もなかったら銃なんて
Happy early
撃たない
birthday,
っしょ
thank you.
ジョーコ
You wouldn't fire a gun if you didn't have a reason. Duh.
ほら鈴葉
Come on, Suzuha.
話して
Out
みる
with
とい
it.
いのだぜ
父さんだって本当は分かってるくせに
You know what it is. I'm a June baby, so we're not too far apart. I'll be looking forward to that then.
何か
Oh, what's that?
世界線が変動したことだよ
The worldline
ロシアが
changed.
タイムマシンの実験を
Russia
始
started
めたんだ
experimenting with the time machine.
それって確定なん
You're sure?
だから焦ってるんじゃないか
That's why I'm doing this.
このままじゃ
At this rate, it'll be too late to do anything.
シュタインズゲートに到達できない
We won't reach Steins
第三
Gate.
次世界大戦
We
も
won't be
防
able
げ
to
ない
stop the Third World War.
大勢の人が死んで
Lots of people will die. Mom will die.
回避できない
And I won't be able to stop any of it.
それは困るよ
That would be really bad.
でもだからって
But
さ
still, even if you threaten Okurin and force him to go back to the past with you, is that really gonna work?
うまくいくわけ
Daru's normally easygoing expression had suddenly turned serious. He gets serious a lot with her.
タイムマシンや世界線のことを
Since I started to research the time machine and the world lines,
分かってきたんだよね
I've kind of figured something out.
オカリンの言う通り
I think Okurin might be right. And it may be impossible to save Makase, she, the normal way.
父さんまで何を言って
Now you're saying it too, Dad?
世界線のルールや因果率が
If the rules and causality of the world lines could be changed that easily,
オカリンの言う
Okurin should have been able to save Mayushi in the Alpha world line, right?
だって救えたはず
じゃあどうしたらいいって言うんだ
Then what am I supposed to do? Daru brought his fist up to his chest.
どうすべきかを僕らは研究
I
し
mean,
て
they're
るわ
already
け
up.
っしょ
They've been up. And that's what we're researching, right?
でももう時間
But,
が
but, there's no time.
大丈夫僕に
It's
任せ
okay.
とけって
Just leave it to me.
絶対に
I'll figure
何
something
とか
out.
してみせる
I promise.
たまには父さんの言う
I
こと
wish you'd
も
listen to your dad once in a
素直
while.
に聞いてほしいのだぜ
Daru's voice was strong and kind in a way you'd never imagine he was capable of. He softly took the gun from Suzuha's hands. She didn't resist.
ほら銃なん
Here,
かより
you forgot something
もっと大切なものを
that's way more
忘れて
important than a
ろ
gun.
今
On
日みたい
cold
な
days like
寒い
today,
日にこそ
You should be wearing
こ
these.
れを使うべき
Daru took something out of his pocket. He pressed it into Suzuha's hands. My brain is trying to make sense of her hair. I mean, true. It's cute, though. It was a pair of handmade gloves. It was the present that Yuki had given her at the Christmas party. I remembered it well. It's cute, but makes no IRL sense how to make. True.
私
When he gave her the gloves, warm tears started to flow down her face.
どうしていいのかわかん
I
ない
don't know what to do. I don't know what to do
なく
anymore.
なっちゃっ
うん
Yeah.
た助けて
Help me, Dad.
父さん
Help me. Please.
助けて
Suzuha's shoulders shook as the tears poured down. I turned my eyes towards the time machine, a silhouette in the darkness.
俺はもう乗らないって
I decided that I'm not getting back in that thing. No matter what Daru said, no matter how Suzuha threatened me, I wasn't going back to the past. I can't look back. Hmm, 2 hours on the dot. Yeah, I'll at least go another hour, but I gotta go to the bathroom real quick then. I'll be right back. All right. Oh yeah, my cords are caught on things. Okay. The next thing she knew, Suzuha was inside the time machine, wrapped up in a blanket. She must have been crying a lot, because she hadn't even noticed that she'd come inside the time machine, or that Rintaro had left. Her dad was next to her. He was also wrapped up in a blanket, and he was looking at her.
落ち着いた?
Have you calmed down?
今何時?
What time is it? She wiped away the tears as she asked.
もうすぐ日付が変わるよ.
It's almost a new day.
ごめん。こんな時
Sorry
間
to
まで
keep you up
付き合
this
わせ
late.
て。
平気平気.
It's fine, it's fine.
前にも言ったっしょ. 父さんの
I told you before.
いくらで
You
も
can always count on your
頼
dad.
っていいのだぜ.
うん。
Yeah. The time machine's hatch was still open, and the cold air was pouring in. Each time they spoke, they could see their breath turn white. The machine was still silent. They could use the life support system in the cockpit to keep out the cold, but she didn't want to waste the energy. She rubbed her cheeks with her glove-covered hands. The gloves Yuki gave her were very warm, and her hands were the one part of her that wasn't cold.
僕さ、いつか必
You
ず
know,
オカリンも
I
僕
think
らと
someday
一緒
Okarin's
に
gonna work with us.
いや違う
No.
な。
He's gonna be our
僕ら
leader.
が先頭に立って指揮
Suzuha was a little surprised to see Ataru speaking seriously. He does that a lot, though. Normally, all Ataru ever did was screw around. The Future Gadget Lab only exists because of Okurin. He's having a hard time right now, but he'll get over it. And then Kiyoma Hyoen will revive. You know, the name Phoenix isn't just for show. And when that time comes, Okurin will probably get in the time machine himself, without needing you to tell him to. Suzuha realized that Taro was trying to make her feel better. Suddenly, deep in her heart, she felt a little warmer. Dad, do you realize how embarrassing the things you're saying are? Ugh. Yeah, you're right. No way I could say that in front of Okurin. I'm going to write a letter to Uncle Okurin before tomorrow. If I try to talk to him directly, I'll end up Bleh. If I try to talk to him directly, I'll end up acting weird again. I'll tell him I'm sorry. And then I'm gonna keep fighting a little longer. So I want him to just think about it. But still, there's really not a lot of time left. Not a lot of time? Because Russia started their experiments. You see, the eternal battery for the quantum computer that controls the time machine is just about to run out. Seriously? I told you I used the machine a lot starting in 1998 in order to look for Kagari. That wasn't part of the original plan. Of course, that meant I had to use a computer that controls the machine more than I'd meant to. And that drained the battery? The battery's actually closer to running out than the fuel. It'll be hard to make the machine jump the way it's supposed to. If it's just a battery, can we swap it out or recharge it? No. Can I take a little look at it? Suzuha nodded and pointed to a piece at the core of the machine. Itaru leaned his huge body forward to take a look, but soon he gave out a moan of confusion. What is this thing? The battery was the same size as a car's, but it was the product of 2036 technology, and Itaru lived in the year 2010. There was probably no way he could understand it. From Itaru's perspective, it might as well have been a black box of unknown technology. A quick look wouldn't tell him anything about how it was built, or how it would work. That was one reason why Suzuha had agreed to let him look at it. I don't think you can do anything with 2010's technology. It's basically the same as a disposable battery. You can't charge it, and you can't swap it out. Hello, Shoujo. Welcome in. Thanks for your alert. Thanks for your daily check-in. Damn, 92 times. Can you replace it with a battery or generator from this time? Suzuha shook her head helplessly. I tried that a long time ago, but it didn't work. I asked Big Sis Rumi to get me a car battery, one of the big ones they use in trucks. I hooked it up and it didn't last a second. What did you just say? I tried a gas-powered generator and it didn't work either. I can't even imagine how much gasoline you'd need. And we can't fit that much gas inside the machine anyway. Big Sis Rumi went through a lot of trouble to get me one of the latest fuel cell batteries. But even that wasn't good enough. Future tech is amazing. All that power in something this small? Itaru was sitting in amazement at the futuristic battery. If only we could use garbage as fuel, like in that one science fiction movie. So, how long is it gonna last? Probably 1 or 2 more jumps at most. That's all? And even while the machines shut down, sorry, Hadion, it's still calculating gravity fields and positional coordinates constantly. Even if we don't jump, the battery will eventually run out. We've got another 6 months of battery at most, before we lose the ability to do an accurate jump. So that's all the time we have to save Kurisu Makase. Suzuha grabbed onto Itaru's back and took a deep breath. It was squishy, and it felt good. What happens if the battery runs out and we can't control the machine? We lose control of the Kerr black hole and are trapped beyond the event horizon for eternity. Don't even say that stuff. It's bad luck. Yeah, sorry. But I wonder what it's like. I wonder if it's calm and quiet like this, and it just stays that way for eternity. Maybe that wouldn't be so bad. As she clung to her father's warm back, Suzuha started to feel very sleepy. If she let her guard down for a moment, she was sure to fall asleep. She'd been trained to fight it on the battlefield, but this wasn't the battlefield, and she was exhausted from crying. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad to let herself sleep once in a while. She sat down and held her knees like a child, then softly closed her eyes. I see. So Suzuha's leaving before summer ends, no matter what Okurin decides. Just before she fell asleep, she thought she heard her father talking to himself. Oh, back to Okabe? Oh. This is truly paradise. Maho's eyes were shining like a little girl's. Not many girls would look like that if you brought them to a place like this. Well, a girl who does is my kind of girl. I was the one who'd brought her here, but she seemed to have forgotten about me entirely. She was wandering down the narrow corridors, where all the computer parts were, as if in a daze. Then she came to a stop in front of one of them. Inside the shop were lots of little plastic bins, filled with junk parts of all sizes. Sorry, I was trying to see if there was another word behind my mic stand arm. They'd been taken off of discarded PCs and appliances. Each of them was obviously dirty, and lots of them were covered in dust. What's this board do, you think? It's got a beautiful pattern, like a piece of art. And it's made out of aluminum. Oh. Yeah. What? An IFX008 image sensor? I can't believe it. This belongs in a museum. What's it doing here? Yeah. Akihabara is even more amazing than I'd heard. Watching the ecstasy on Maho's face creeped me out a little bit. this is who Maho really is. Kurisu spoke from inside my phone. Maho had said she wanted to go out with Kurisu today. So I ended up going on a strange date with 2 girls at once. This might be another test of Amadeus's capabilities. I've been here a few times, but I've only ever seen one other person stare lovingly at computer parts like that. Gee, I wonder who he's talking about. Is he? Oh, maybe. I know. You're talking about Hashida, right? Oh. I was thinking the wrong person then. I guess that makes sense. Yeah. I feel kind of bad for Maho, if you're comparing her to him. From what you've said, he's an incredible pervert. That's right. That was rude to Hyajo. It was early afternoon on a Sunday. There was a reason I'd come with Maho to the computer parts store. Dr. Liskinen and Maho were headed back to America in a few days. She was leaving soon, so she wanted me to show her around Akihabara, like I promised. That's what her message had said. So we met in front of the station in the morning, and I asked her where she wanted to go. This was the result. By the way, her first stop was Yodobashi, and her second, soft map. I'd already taken her to a lot of used PC and retro PC shops, tucked away in tiny alleys. You should take her to, I forgot, Rumiho, aka, why am I forgetting everyone's names? You should take her to Rumi. Do you like these kinds of computer parts, Hyajo? It's not the parts, really. I just like building things. I used to make plastic models all the time when I was a kid. Did you make geranium radios and stuff? I burnt myself smoldering all the time. Soldering. Me too. I guess everybody's the same way, aren't they? No? Probably not everybody. Actually, I'd assume that it was a minority of people who soldered in their homes growing up. Wow, I could stare at this stuff forever. Why didn't I come sooner, I wonder? It felt like she was never going to leave unless I dragged her out. I finally managed to succeed in getting her away from the parts shop by telling her it was time to eat. We went out to the main road. This area was close to the station, so it was especially crowded. Thanks to the crowds of people waiting to cross the street, you couldn't even walk in a straight line. Now then, where to eat? My first idea was May Queen Nyan Squared, but after the way she reacted last time, it was probably best to avoid it. Thank you. I don't want a Nyan. Still, Sampo wasn't a good choice for someone new to Akihabara. Gansen? Or maybe Kitchenjiro. Go-Go Curry would work too. As I stood there thinking, Maho stopped moving in front of the arcade directly ahead of us. Someone want to play games? Evidently, she was looking at the crane games on the first floor. Oh, we are on a date. Can we take a little look inside? I nodded. Maho walked up to the crane game and pressed her face against the glass like a little kid. Inside the glass were characters from @channel memes, all of different sizes. And maybe Maho was a secret @channeler like Kurisu. They were pretty close, so it was possible. Speaking of Kurisu, I leaned over to Maho and whispered a magic spell into her ear.
ヌルポ
Nopo.
はい。
Did that not work? I just confused her.
何そのぬるっていうのは。
What? What's a no... What?
なんでもない忘れてくれ
Nothing. Forget it.
お
Kurisu knows. Oh, yes, she does. Kurisu was glaring cold daggers at me from inside the smartphone. But I decided to ignore it.
ヒアジョさん
Hiajo,
このぬいぐるみ欲しい
do you want that stuffed animal?
ええ、かわいいじゃない。
It's cute, isn't it, Kurisu?
先輩
What? Maho?
何どうして慌てているの
What? Why do you look so flustered?
なんでもないです。
It's nothing.
ちょっと意外だな
I'm a little bit surprised,
パ
honestly.
ーツが好きって
You just said you liked computer parts.
感性としては
So I figured your taste would be more
男に使える
boyish.
と思ってた
No, that's not how that works.
岡部、デリカシーないわね、あんたは。
Agreed. Okabe, you need to learn some tact.
もっとうまいこと言いなさいよ。
Say something
ギャッ
romantic.
プが素敵だ
Like,
とかなんとか。
the gap between my expectations and your reality is really cute. That's... This is definitely coming from an otaku.
あすまない
Sorry.
いいわよ、別に。
It's fine, really.
実はね。
Actually, Kurisu had one of these stuffed animals in her
クリス
bedroom.
がベッドル。
そうなのか
Did she?
先輩。
もしかして
Did she buy it off the internet and have it shipped to America? Does it really matter?
さすが隠れあった
I guess you can tell she's a secret at Chandler.
何よ。あと
Oh, what's an at Chandler? Never heard of it. Uh-huh.
ヌルポ
Oh, hey, Lee, welcome in. Thanks for your daily check-in. How are you today, Lee? What are you doing? Even as part of Amadeus, she hadn't changed a bit. Doing great, that's good to hear, Lee.
ヒアジョさんクリスは
Hiajo,
これがなんていうキャラ
did Kurisu ever tell you what kind of character this was?
いいえ。何度か聞
No,
いてみたけど
I asked several times, and she kept dodging the question.
だろうな
I'm sure.
だからずっと気になっていたの
So I
よ。
always kind of wondered.
岡部さんは知っているの
Do you know Okabe? Just planning something for April 1st? I kind of wish I could, but I don't know what to plan for it. I mean, what is Thursday? Hang on. Not what is Thursday. I meant, what is April 1st? What day is April 1st? It's Tuesday, which is an adventure game day. I already have a game planned for it, though. I have something planned? Oh, do you, Kai? Are you gonna put with Mike in your title, but there's no Mike? I mean, you obviously can't do the short stream thing, because you do that all the time. Maybe you can become a PNG tuber for Cairo? I still need to try to make one. I haven't had time. Well, I mean, no, I've had time. I just have not utilized my time. Because when I'm off from work, I just sleep in massively. Yeah. Maybe Kai will put long stream in his title and it'll be a short one, actually. Oh no? You two have Kai in your name? Yes, we are the Kais. Because we first met on Ronan Kun's stream. And we became the Kais that kept doing stuff for Rodent. Gifting him stuff and whatnot. Gifting him subs. So every time we'd annoy him, he'd be like, oh my god, the Kais are here. There's actually a lot more Kais than us, too. A couple others. Well. You know, I'm glad I get to hear that twice in my right and left ear. One's from the game directly, and one's from the stream. Oh, apparently Kai's got a plan for his April Fools. I guess we'll see. A chill ran down my spine as I heard the angry voice from the smartphone. I don't actually know.
So,
I see. Sheesh. I defended your honor, Kurisu. You better be grateful.
ちょっと挑戦していいかしら?
Can I give it a try? Maho took her wallet out of the Maho took her wallet out of her pocket and put a 100 yen coin into the machine.
このアームを
You move this arm back and forth to grab the stuffed animal, right?
掴めばいいのね.
How old are you again? What do you mean? Have you never been on a crane machine? I mean, I'm sure you never get out much, but still. Have you never done this before? Ah, I see. Maho only ever plays racing games.
そういうこと.
That's right. She looks excited. Maho nodded and pushed the control button, managing to move the arm directly over her target. She smiled, satisfied.
簡単なものね. あとはアームが降りて勝手に掴んでくれるんでしょ?
Why does it sound like my phone's going off, but it's not? It's simple. Now you just wait for the arm to automatically grab it, right? Automatically? Yeah, about that. Oh, well, normally, yeah. The arm went straight for the doll, but the angle was slightly off, and it didn't grab it right.
おかしいわ.
Well, that's a face.
どういうことなの?
That doesn't make sense. What just happened? That's what happens your first time. Maho gave it several more tries, but didn't seem to get the hang of it. Poor Maho. She groaned and took her last 300 yen to the back of the arcade. She walked over to a game with a red and white two-tone Formula 1 car on the side of the cabinet. She slid inside, still angry. I remembered that one was a CG racing game, based off of real circuits. See, now she gets to show off. What is it? And now's your chance to show your manliness. How? My manliness? And get that stuffed animal that Maho couldn't. I mean. Oh, I see. And then give it to Maho, was what she was trying to say. Manliness aside, after seeing how badly she wanted it, I did want to try and help her. What if this hurts her pride? I took some coins out of my pocket and checked how much money I was carrying. Okay, it's been a while, but let's try this. But honestly, I'm not very good at these games either. Even so, I was sure I could do better than Maho. May as well give it a try. Oh, I guess that's just the game music. Of the crane game. Oh, we failed. Don't you say a word, Kurisu. Not a word. Hey, wait, no, dropped it. Oh no. Please tell me this and so ends positively and not negatively. Also, I just noticed the figurine on the left. And so, after trying several times... Oh, thank God. Whether it was luck or skill, I managed to get the stuffed animal easier than I expected.
Yes.
Okay. Nice. I stuffed it into a bag and went back to the racing game Maho was playing. For some reason, there was a crowd of about 10 people around it. I wonder why. Wow. Who is that girl? Don't ask me. Is she in elementary school? I can't believe how good she is. Don't say that out loud, please. Don't let her hear you say that. Think she set a new record? The crowd was whispering to one another. All of them seemed to be amazed. I made my way into the crowd and looked at the screen. The game Maho was playing was one of those where you had to clear each stage in a set time, or else it would be game over. With each race, the course got more and more difficult, and she was placing first every time with ease. As the crowd watched in awe, she finally made it to the end of the last stage, well ahead of the other racers, and she'd set a new record. She had a satisfied smile on her face as she looked at this flashy "Congratulations" graphic on the ending screen. Then she noticed the crowd around her and her body jerked. Congratulations! You've set the record for our store! An arcade employee walked over to Maho and started to clap. Then the crowd started to clap as well. Maho's face went beet red. I should probably help her. I pushed my way through the crowd and grabbed her hand to pull her up. Let's go. Oh, yeah. I had never seen her this obedient before. We made our way through the hustle and bustle and finally got out of the arcade. Maho sighed in relief. Phew. That was careless of me. What was? I got mad and I got serious. Because of this? I handed her the bag with my prize in it. What? She opened the bag and took out the stuffed animal. This... You got it? I got lucky. You can have it as a present. Really? It won't do me any good. Really? Okay, I'll take it then. Mo hugged the doll tight to her chest with the innocent smile of a child. Don't say that out loud. Seeing how happy she was made me happy too. After Kurisu died, her mom showed me a lot of the things she left behind. But this was something that Kurisu really loved. Her mom kept it in her own bedroom. If you didn't know it was from an @channel meme, it was actually pretty cute. I could see her keeping it as a memory of her daughter.
だけどクリスの実
But
家がね
after what happened to
大
Kurisu's
変なこと
house,
になって
I'm sure it burned up
ぬ
too.
いぐるみも先輩だから
So,
これはアメリカの
can I give this to her mom in
プレゼント
America?
していいかしら
Sure.
もちろん
Of course.
喜んでもらえるなら
If you think she'll like
そ
it,
れが一番いい
that's what would be best.
ありがとう
Thanks.
さてと
Okay,
次はどうする
what's next?
他に見て
Any
みたい
place else you want to see?
と言っても
Though I guess you wouldn't be interested in anime or game stores.
クリス悪いけどしばらく
Kurisu,
岡部さんと
I'm
二人
sorry,
きりにしてくれる
but can you leave me alone with Okabe for a little while?
先輩ついに自分の気持ちに素
Maho,
直になることに
you
したん
finally
ですね
decided to be honest with yourself. No? Why are you always like this, Kurisu?
岡部ちゃんとしなさいよ
That's not what this is about. Okabe, don't screw this up.
はあ
先輩頑張って
Good luck, Maho.
それじゃ
Bye.
ヒヤジョウさん
Hyajo,
行きたい場所
there's
もう
one
一
more
つ
place I
あ
want
る
to
んだけ
go.
れど
そうかどこだ
Yeah? Where is it? Is it someplace she didn't want Kurisu knowing about?
あ
It's
そ
not
こ
her death, is it?
わかるでしょ
The... what's it called? What was the building called? I can't remember. Ooh, actually I can almost remember. It's like on the tip of my tongue. You can guess where, right? The smile was gone from Maho's face. She looked like she'd come to some kind of decision. And then I realized where she wanted to go. I can almost remember Radicon. Radicon?
ラジカンに連れて行って
Take me to the radio building. The radio building. And she wanted me to take her there. I understood immediately. Because that was where Kurisu Makase had died. I'd gone up to the roof several times since then. The time machine was there, and Suzuha and Daru would go up once in a while to do maintenance. Just a few days ago, Suzuha had called me out there and pointed a gun in my face. But even so, I'd never been to that storeroom on the 8th floor, where it had happened. I couldn't bring myself to do it. Just remembering what happened was enough to cause a severe flashback. There was no way I could visit the site of her death.
大丈夫ずいぶん顔色が悪いけれど
Are you okay? You look really pale.
クリスのこと思い出してしまうの
Are you thinking about Kurisu?
そうだろうな
Yeah. I guess so.
辛いならついてこなくてもいいわ
You don't have to come with me if it's going to be
私一
hard
人
for
で
you.
行くから
I'll go by myself. But her face was colorless. Going there had to be hard on her too. But even so, she was trying to come to grips with Kurisu's death. I wanted to help her remember our friend. The radio building was going to be renovated. There wasn't a lot of time.
いや
No,
一緒に行くよ
I'll go with you. Half of the shops had already been moved to another building to make way for the renovation. But many of the shops on the 7th floor were still open. Really? Oh, Here it comes. 6 months ago, on July 28th, I killed Kurisu on the floor just above where I was standing. With my own hands.
ここなの？
Is this the place?
いや、
No.
事件があったのは
It happened on the next
この上
floor.
の階
That's what I was
だと
told.
聞いている。
I wasn't supposed to have been at the scene of Kurisu's death. I'd already asked Mayuri and Daru not to tell anyone.
上には何が？
What's upstairs?
イベント会場と
An event
あと
hall
は
and some
倉
storerooms
庫
and
とか
stuff.
になってる。
行ってみてもいいのかしら？
Can we go up there?
今は立ち入り禁止のはず。
It should be off limits right now. But the rope that always blocked off the way to the 8th floor wasn't there today. I could hear loud voices and laughter from above. Since it was a day off, there must have been some kind of event going on upstairs.
大丈夫そうね。
It looks like it's okay. Maho headed up the stairs first.
Oh.
I slowly dragged myself up the stairs. We passed by the event hall and into the back. It looked like there was no one around. Nothing had changed in 6 months.
ここだ。
Except one thing, I'm sure. This is it. There were no lights on, and the place seemed dark and lonely. This time, the storeroom was locked.
そう。こんな場所で。
I see. So it was a place like this. I could see her lips trembling as she whispered. It seemed strange. This was the place where Kurisu had died, covered in blood. And yet, nearby, the rest of the world continued on like it didn't care. And now I'd come back, even though this was where the one I loved had died.
もどかしいわ。
It's frustrating.
私は物理学者ではないから。
I'm not a physicist,
相対性理
so I
論
don't know all there is to know about
詳細に理解しているわけではないけど
relativity theory, but
時間と空間が同
if
列だという
space and
の
time
は
are essentially the same thing,
なぜ空間と同じよ
then
う
why
に
can't we move through time as easy as we can move through
時間も容易に移動でき
space?
ないのかし今私たちは
Spatially,
空間的に
we're
は
on the same axis as
クリス
Kurisu's
と
death,
して同じ軸上にいるのよ
but that tiny little gap on the temporal axis
なのに
means there's nothing we can do about it.
時間軸がほんのすあなたこの前クリスに
You asked Kurisu.
あ
Oh,
アマデウス
I
の
mean,
方だけ
the
ど
Amadeus Kurisu.
面
an
白い
interesting
質問を
question
したわ
before.
よねタイムマシンは作れるかどうかって
Lee and Kai want to avoid Kurisu's fate? What, being murdered by Rentaru? Or just murdered in general? Oh, Frosty. Whether it was possible to create a time machine.
あ
Yeah.
ぜひ研究してみてほしいわ
I'd-
真っ先に私が友
I'd
人
love
テ
it
ス
if
ト
you
に
could look
名乗り
into
出る
it.
から
I'd volunteer for the first man test. I couldn't tell from the tone of her voice if she was serious or joking. She laughed, sadly. Time machines are real, you know? And there's one right above us. What would she do if I told her that? Would she blame me for giving up on saving Kurisu? And say she'd go back to the past herself?
岡部さんクリスが亡くなった時の状況について
Okabe,
教えてくれない
can you tell me about how Kurisu died?
私
I don't know the details.
俺だって
I don't really know
他に知ら
myself.
ないよ
Didn't I tell you that before?
前に
でもアメリカにいた私よりは詳しい
But
でしょ
you know more than I do, right? I was in America.
クリスは
What was Kurisu
ど
doing
う
in
し
a
て
place like
こんなと
this?
ころに来たのかしら
I get to watch some Cairo again. I'm off work, but very tired. Lol, it's 3:20 a.m. Well, I will be ending soon, so you won't have to wait too long to go to sleep. Nah, bro, I stare fate in the eyes. Hope I couldn't outrun fate forever. Maybe we should invent a divergence meter to track your timeline? Yes, let's track down Kai. Keep an eye on Kai. But welcome in, Smokey.
クリスが死んだ時、すぐそ
On
こ
the
の
day
イベ
she
ントホー
died,
ルでは
there was an event going on like the one happening now, right? We could hear the occasional sounds of laughter coming from the event hall. How's the game been? Game's good. I do wish there was more gameplay and it wasn't so heavy visual novel, but I do like the story and the characters. Can relate, it's 4:20 a.m. Yeah, Kai stays up a lot too. Oh, Tempura's here too. Hello, Tempura. Welcome in. Actually, Kai, would you mind giving Tempura and Smokey some shoutouts? Oh, hydrate. Thank you, Tempura. And congrats on 3rd. How are you today, Tempura? Let me just do something real quick. Okay. Thank you, Kai.
Nakabachi 博士、
Dr.
去年
Nakabachi.
の夏、
It made the news
ニュー
last
スがあった
summer.
ロシアに亡命して、
I heard that he sought asylum in
タ
Russia,
イムマシン
and
に
he wrote
関
a
する
paper
論
on
文
time
を書いたっ
machines.
て。その論文の内容は、それはひどいものだった
Supposedly,
らしいけれ
the
ど、
paper itself was terrible,
ただ、
but
それ
that
だ
made
け
me
言っとき
remember
たんだよ。
something. Those guys who set fire to Kurisu's
アメ
house
リ
in
カの
America
クリスの家
were
に
speaking
放火した
Russia.
連中も
Russia. Were
ロシア
speaking
語を
Russian.
話していた。これ、
Is that a
偶
coincidence, you
然
think?
かしら。
You're gonna have to tough out a yes. Can he do it?
私は
Just passing by. Enjoy your game. Hope your stream goes well. Thank you, Temperas. I appreciate you stopping by. I think the two events are connected somehow.
だから、
So,
中鉢
I
博
decided
士
to
に
look
つい
into
て調
Dr.
べようと思ったん
Nakabachi.
だけど、
But strangely,
不思議なことに
there's barely any
驚くほど
there's
情報が
barely
ない
any
の。
information on him.
ネッ
If you
ト
look
で検
online,
索しても
you won't even find his
本
real
名すら
name.
出てこない。中鉢博士について言及しているブロ
Most
グや
blogs
サイ
and
トを見
websites
に
that
行って
talked
も
about Dr.
ほとんど
Nakabachi
は閉鎖して
are
る。
gone now. And all of them
しかも
disappeared in the last 6
この
months.
半年ほどで立て続けに。ねえ、
Tell
一
me,
体クリスの周り
what
で
the hell was Kurisu
何
caught
が起き
up
ていた
in?
の？もしかして
Is it perhaps
今もまだ
still going
そ
on?
れは続いているの？あなたは
Are you hiding
何
something?
を隠しているの？
Her eyes were pure and sought the truth. Kurisu used to get that exact same look in her eyes all the time. But
好奇心で
you shouldn't get involved out of curiosity.
足を突っ込ま俺はもうたくさんだ。
I'm done with all this.
今更だわ。私は片足を突っ込んで
It's
し
too
まっている
late.
のよ。
I'm already involved.
それに
And I've been
考え
wondering
てしまう
I've
の
been
よ。
wondering if the reason we were attacked before
この前
wasn't
襲われ
because
た
of
の
me.
ももしかすると
君のせい
Because of you.
狙われる理由があるのか？
Is there a reason someone would come after you?
私は
I... And then she paused for a moment.
私はクリスの
え？
遺産を持っている。
I have some of Kurisu's belongings. What belongings? Diaries? Belongings? Some of Kurisu's belongings. What did she mean? Maho had said that after Kurisu died, she'd gone to her home in America and received some of her belongings from her mom. Was she saying now that the attack was because of that? My mind began to race. Russia, where Dr. Nakabachi had sought asylum. The people who attacked Kurisu's home spoke Russian. And just a few days ago, the Russians, probably, had experimented with changing the past. Looks like you have to make a choice. And I don't think it's even really a choice. Because one way or another, whether you like it or not, you're going to get involved. You already did in the other world line. Suzuha had said that World War III would be set off by the time machine. The time machine. Nakabachi's paper? The paper he'd written about the time machine. The cause of the Third World War. A miraculous, nightmarish paper, which would cause the deaths of 5.7 billion people. The time machine he discussed at his press conference was a ripoff of John Titor's. But the one in his paper was different. I never managed to read it, though. But my guess was that Kurisu had showed him the original, that she'd written on July 28th, and his paper was an inferior copy. Kurisu had written down instructions for making a time machine. I shuddered. I quickly booted up the Rhine program on my smartphone. I paged through my chat logs. That hard drive in that laptop contained the data for the original version of Nakabachi's paper. And maybe Kurisu's paper. Wait. So it's Kurisu's laptop? So who showed it to Daru? Was it Maho? No, if it was Maho, he would have mentioned a small girl. Kurisu's laptop and hard drive, which were given to Daru. Was it Maho? And he didn't mention who it was? Or was the person who gave them to him? I looked at Maho. She looked back at me without smiling. Thank God she is an actual friend, because if she was around her or something, this would be the part where she realizes she needs to kick my ass. Or kill me. And she nodded. Yeah, it was me. From Maho's perspective, there were too many things about Kurisu's death that didn't make sense. Maybe that was why she had decided to look into why Kurisu was killed. Of course, she'd assumed there were hints hidden inside her laptop and hard drive. But if my hypothesis was right, that laptop was too dangerous to be allowed to exist. It was Pandora's box, with the power to unleash the Third World War. Well, that explains the title of this section of the game. Why didn't you tell me? At first, I didn't know that you and Hashida were friends. It was really just a coincidence that I gave it to him. And it seemed to me like you were hiding something about Kurisu. Do you really think I'd tell you everything? It wasn't that I didn't trust you, but I thought it would be best to be cautious when it came to Kurisu. Based. You did the right thing. Yeah, you were right about that. Was letting me test Amadeus part of your plot? Don't call it a plot. You were Kurisu's friend. I just wanted to know more about you. To find Kurisu's secrets.
あの子のことをもっと知りたかったの
I
よ。
wanted to know more about her. She glared right back, as if challenging me.
ダルはもう解析したのか？
Has Daru cracked it yet?
まだよ。だから
Not
アメリカに帰る前に
That's why I wanted to talk to you before I head back to America.
あなたと話をしようと思ったの。
So that's why she'd brought me here? I need to call Daru right now. Phone or Ryan, which was better? Phone, apparently.
はい、もしもーし。
Yes? Hello.
今ラボにいるか？
Are you at the lab now?
いや、
No.
じゃあどこにいる？
Then where are you?
家で絶賛エロゲ
At home. Fapping to H games. What's up? I know I'm your best friend, but you did not need to say that.
お前の裏のバイトの件で話が。
Does that mean you're in the middle of it right now? Bruh. I want to talk to you about your part-time job.
あ、あれか。
Oh, that?
なんかマキセ
Hey,
ン
yo.
の情報を思い出した。
You remember any info on Makise, Shi?
ああ、
Yeah. Of course, that was a lie. He could be in danger if I didn't get that laptop back right now. He could still be in danger. They'd have to know that that it's not in his possession anymore. I glanced over at Maho.
じゃあさ、LINE で送ってもらえるかな。
Can you send it over Ryan then?
直接会って話をしよ
Oh, let's talk in
う。ラボ
person.
で合流できないか？
Can you meet me at the lab?
今手が離せない
I'm
から
all tied up right now.
夕方でも
Can I wait
いい
till evening? How long are you going to fat, man?
エロゲなんて後でいくらでもできるだろう。
You can play your H games later, man.
さあせん、家でエロゲしてるってのは嘘。
Oh, thank God.
実は今、
My bad.
バイト中で
I lied about the
手
H
が離せない
games.
んだよね。
I'm actually busy at my job.
バイト？
Your job? Well, I was lying to him too. So I didn't really have room to talk.
じゃあ、
Okay,
本当はどこにいる？
where are you really?
手が離せない
If you
な
can't leave,
こっちから行く。
I'll come to you.
とにかく
I just need to talk to you right now.
ん、
It's important, Daru.
あんまおかりんには教えてくれな
I
かった
really didn't want to tell you. I do a lot of dangerous
山
work.
での仕事も多いから。まあいいや。
Well,
わかった。
whatever.
これから言う
Fine.
ところに来てよ。
Come to the address I'm about to give you. The location he gave me was still in Akihabara. It was less than 5 minutes away. Down an alley, a few turns off Main Strip. All the hustle and bustle of the crowd completely disappears. We were on the 7th floor of an old mixed-use building. We were in Akihabara, at the center of Tokyo, in the middle of the day on Sunday, and still the alleyway we'd come in seemed lonely and abandoned. There, we found the shop Daru had told us about. Interesting. There was a cute anime-style sign on the steel door that read, "Cosplay Media at Akihabara. We're open. Come on in." Why? I'm out shopping with Luca. Do you want to come join us, Okabe? Oh wait, no, that second one wasn't. Do you want to come join us, Okabe? Sorry, I'm a bit busy now. What happened? I'm about to have a bit of a long talk. With who? Daru. It's not something we can let a girl hear. I am a guy, though. I can't let you hear it, Luca. You're too kind. It would knock you out cold. Huh? Ocarine, don't do anything too weird. But you haven't done anything like that lately, so it kind of feels like old times. Sorry. Ask me another time. No, sorry for bugging you. Talk to you later. Bye! I kind of forgot how I did Luca's voice specifically. Farewell. No, don't bring it back up. What the hell? The store was jammed full of cosplay outfits. The wall near the entrance held the new arrivals corner and popular cosplay sections, as well as cosplay wigs, ribbons, jewelry, and props. The other wall held the used outfit section, and a shoe section stocked with socks, school shoes, heels, and boots. Even further back, I could see rows of school swimsuits and competition swimming outfits. I bet those are used more for, private matters than public matters. It looked like the place sold mainly to girls, but this clearly wasn't a location where a woman would feel comfortable. The other tenants in the building were all shady shops with names like Drops of the Spirit God Inc., Space Radio Receiver Sales, and Flower Petal Video Project.
君はここには来たことが
Have you ever been here before?
いいえ、
Why would she have been here
前
before?
に会った時は別の雑居ビル
Oh,
だ
you
ったから
meant his job,
同じ
right?
ような怪しいお店だったけれど
No. The last time we met, it was in a different building. It wasn't much better than this one, though.
そうか
I see. I felt like I'd seen Daru's dark side. The shop was completely silent. There were no customers other than us. There was a thin man with long hair at the counter, who looked like he worked there, but he didn't even raise his head up from the magazine when we came in. To be honest, ever since I entered, I'm worried that someone would think I was up to something illegal. Right, because they'll think she's a child and you're here with her. Anybody who saw me would think I was a pervert, taking a middle school girl to a shady cosplay shop. Yeah.
おいオカリンこっち
Hey, Ocarin, over here! Daru appeared from the back of the shop. There had been no sign of him a second ago.
つうかマホタンも一緒だったんだね
Wait, Mahotan's with you too, huh?
そのマホタンというのやめて
Would
く
you
れな
stop
いか
calling me Mahotan?
なんでかわいいじゃん
Why? It's cute.
バカにされている気分だわ
I feel like I'm being insulted.
そんなことよりダル
Forget that.
お前
Where did you
どこ
come
から
from,
出てきた
Daru? The man at the counter hadn't said anything, which meant they knew he was here.
とりあえずこっち
Come with me. Daru headed to the back of the store. One of the rows of hanger racks holding idle cosplay outfits was pulled forward, and behind it I could see a curtain. Past the curtain was a tiny space that led to a door marked staff only.
お
If the hanger rack hadn't been moved, I'd have no idea this was here.
まるで忍者屋敷ね
It's like an old ninja mansion. Whoa. Behind the door was a cramped office. Well, no. The room itself may have been pretty big, but the darkness made it feel very cramped. You need to throw your trash away, dude. I'm just looking at everything in here. Why does this one kind of look like Me-Side? The character from Me-Side, to me. It looks similar to it. I mean, obviously, this existed way, way before Me-Side. But it just reminds me of Me-Side. It was honestly hard to breathe. There were 4 desks in the center surrounded by metal racks. The desk and floor were piled high with all manner of computers and peripherals. There were boxes and bags littered everywhere. I couldn't tell if they were trash or not. There were towers of magazines, games, plastic models, and figure boxes. And the desk was covered in garbage, just like the one at the lab. It was too dark to tell, but I was sure the figures he had on display were covered in dust. And what did he need 6 monitors for anyway? Cameras? Each of them displayed an image of the store. Evidently, it was footage from a security camera. I was right. Given the size of the store and the lack of customers, even 3 cameras would have been too many. Well, sit down, I guess.
座れる場所なんてないぞ。
And there's no place to sit down.
今スペース作るよ。
I'll make you a space. Daru kicked aside the boxes on the floor to make room, then set down 2 folding chairs.
お前、
Can I have your chair?
この店とはどういう関係なんだ？
What's the deal with you in this shop?
バイトリーダーみたいなもんかな。
I'm kind of like the leader of us part-timers. I work for a lot of underground places like this.
でさ、たまに事務所を
And so,
個人的に
sometimes they let me use their offices like
使わせてもらってるわけ。
this.
裏のバイトのためにか。
For your secret job.
そういうこと。
Yep. Maybe there was a lot more to Daru than I thought.
ここにあるものは全部お前の
Is
仕
all
事
this stuff in here yours?
いや、他のバイトのみんなとの
I
共
wonder,
有
is
財
this...
産的なやつ。
There might be more to Daru simply because of everything we went through in the first game. So he might have started taking initiative? Especially since he's working on a time machine, in a way. And nope, it's shared with the rest of the part-timers. I don't have enough money to buy all this stuff.
おう
Or so he said. But who knew if that was true?
お
Hmm?
クリスからだ。
It's from Kurisu. Maho looked troubled. Might need to save. I didn't want Kurisu hearing this either. I didn't know what to do. And then I remembered. The worldline where I spent a month during wartime. I remembered that the Amadeus Kurisu was being used by the US military there. I never got to see that. Can we go back to that worldline? I still didn't know what that meant. I stared at my phone screen. Should I answer it? Or should I talk to Daru first?
でもびっくりしたよな。まさかマホタンがオカリンと知り合いだった
I was
とは
really
ね。
surprised to see you two knew each other, though.
前にメイクインで鉢
I
合わせ
wasn't
した
sure what to
時
say
はどうし
when I
よう
saw you
かと
together
思
at
ったっつう
Makequeen.
の。ま、すぐにガテンが言った
Well,
けどね。
I figured it out quick,
マ
though.
キセクリス氏って
You both knew
いう共
Kurisu
通の友
Makise.
人がいたわけだから。
I just want to see what he says before I answer it.
でもマホタン、オカリンには
But
この件は
Mahotan,
一緒にしとくって言ってたのに。
You said you weren't going to tell Okurin about this.
結局打ち明け
Did you
た
change your mind?
見抜かれたという言い
It'd be
方
more
が
accurate to
盛
say he figured it out for himself.
ああ、なるほどね。
Oh, I see. Daru nodded and grabbed some snacks off the table to gobble down. I put the smartphone in my pocket. For now, I needed to focus on talking to Daru.
で、僕に話って。
Well, you say that, but... I wonder if it's basically the same, but just me trying to get rid of her by telling her some lies or something. I know there are some choices in the game that affect the ending. What is it?
あんたまだ真帆先輩と一緒
You're still with Maho, right?
ああ
Oh,
一緒だ
yeah.
が
We're together. Why?
どうかしたの
What's up?
レスキネン教授からたった今聞いたんですが
I just heard from Dr. Leskinen.
和光市のオフィスが
The office in Wako City has been ransacked by someone. Oh, I need to know this.
え
What?
あと真帆先輩の
And he just got a call from Maho's hotel.
そっちも誰かに
Someone raided it
指名
too.
されたみたいですなんですって
What did you say?
すぐにレスキネン教授からも連絡が
You should hear from Dr. Leskinen soon.
少しでも早く
But I wanted to
知らせた
tell
い
you ASAP. Oh wait, hang on, I gotta do something. Okay, there we go.
ありがとうクリス
Thanks, Kurisu.
ヒアジョーさんのことは
Daru and I are looking out for Hiajo, so don't worry.
大丈夫だ
そうね
That's right. I'm counting on you guys. Bye. Well, this is serious, Maho. Maho looked down and bit her lip.
懸念していたことが現実
This is what I was afraid would happen.
狙いは
They're after Kurisu's laptop and hard
クリス
drive.
のハードディスクだ
え、マジで？
Huh? Seriously?
場所を変えた方がいいかもしれない
We should probably move.
ここは安全だと思うけど。
I think this place is safe, though.
なんとなく嫌な予感がする
I've got a bad feeling.
勘みたいな
Intuition, you could call it. Oh. If I hadn't picked that up, would they have come in here?
わかったお。
Got it.
それでノー
Oh.
ト PC とハードディスク
And where's the laptop and hard drive? Daru sighed and grabbed a locked, fire-resistant case off of one of the racks. He opened it. Is that where he hid it? Oh, that's definitely hers. The laptop was a deep red Japanese model with a 12-inch LCD screen. The hard drive was American, from a brand known for equipping its drives with a shock-resistant rubber case.
それを持って急いで出よう
Let's take it and get out of here. Both Maho and Daru nodded silently. It was probably a good thing I went back to the safe. As soon as we left the building, I could see a car coming down the empty alleyway. It was a big American RV. Oh yeah, let's get out. Let's get away. We quickly hid ourselves in the shadow of another building. My intuition was right. The RV stopped in front of the building we'd just left. 3 men came out. None of them were Japanese. They were all dressed in black suits, almost like MIBs. Whatever they weren't Akihabara tourists.
間一髪だったな
That was close. Maho went pale when she saw the men go into the building. I wonder what happens to the other one then? How far off it goes? Ooh. She seemed to be shaking a little too.
こんなのまるで映画の
This is
世界
like
だわ
a movie.
とても現実
Can't
とは
believe it's
思え
real.
ない
でもさ、あの連
How'd
中
they find out about that
は
place,
店の
though?
情報どうやって入手したんだろう。
ダルがヘマしたんじゃないのか
You sure you didn't screw up somehow, Daru?
僕を誰だと思ってる？
Who do you think I am?
スーパーハッカーだろ
A super hacker, right?
ハッカーな。
Hacker.
足はつかないように注意して
I
る
make sure I don't get caught.
または俺と
Either that, or Hyajo and I were tailed.
怖いこと言わないでよ
Don't scare me.
和光市のオフィスやホテルだって
They raided your office and hotel room in Wako
ヒア
City.
ジョーさんがずっとマークさ
I'm
れて
sure
いた
they've been watching you this whole time.
あそうだわ
Oh, right. Maho seemed to suddenly remember something. She took out her smartphone and made a call.
教授に連絡しないと
You should probably turn off your phone. I need to contact the professor.
今日はどこかに身を隠すと伝えて
You should tell him to hide somewhere for today.
協
If
力
we meet
を
up with
する
him,
と
it could put him in
教授に
danger.
まで危険が及ぶかもしれない
Maho nodded. Okay, we're doing a perspective change. I think this is a good place to stop. I should have stopped before before we met up with Daru, but it is what it is. I think this will make a good place to stop. Let me save. I'm gonna save right here. No, I'm gonna ignore the dialogue for a bit because I want a thumbnail of a character. Give me Rumi. And Maho, hopefully.
このノート PC は
Actually,
存在するだけ
this
で
works.
災いを呼ぶだろ
I'll use this as the thumbnail. Alright. So we'll call it there for today. And I think I scheduled it for next Thursday, didn't I? I did. Because I wanted to start Raging Loop next Thursday, but if I do that, I wouldn't be able to play it again until May 1st. So I'm just going to start it May 1st. So I'll just do Steins Gate 0 on Thursday and Saturday. Speaking of which, Thursday the 3rd, Saturday the 5th, and Saturday the 12th. Those 3 times I will be playing Steins Gate, and then it will be put on hold until May. Until May 3rd. Because I will be celebrating on Thursday, April 10th, my 1-year anniversary. And then April 17th to the 30th is my 2-week vacation from my work, which I will be spending playing games that I've been saving for that occasion. So 3 more streams of Steins Gate, and then I'll be putting it on hold. If I don't finish it before then, that is. So long, yeah. It's because those 2 weeks are my are the worst of my allergies in April. But we shall raid out then. So let me get the raid messages one for followers and for subscribers. So go ahead and grab one of those. Most likely the follower one. And I will find someone to raid on Twitch. But until then, YouTube and Twitch, thank you all for hanging out with me. For those who are in chat and those who are lurking, I appreciate it. Always good to have you guys with me. Let me turn off the music. I hope you all have a good morning, day, or night, whatever time it is for you guys. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye, everyone.
In a room where shadows loom, a man sits deep in gloom, with a pen held tight in hand, sketching dreams that understand. Walls may close, the night may fall, but his spirit stands tall. Lines he draws are doors that lead to worlds where dreams are free. With a pen he builds his dreams, turning silence into streams. In his mind he's never alone, crafting realms he calls his own. Paper whispers, secrets told, journeys inked in black and bold. Mountains climb or rivers shoulders bend in the world that he can mend. He may be confined and still, yet his heart is wild with thrill. Through each line a sky so wide, in his world he takes a ride. Every sigh is painted bright, stars that gleam in darkest night. With a pen his spirit sings, soaring high on high.